Hated by their home, empowered by destiny, the siblings rise.
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto and Naruko siblings were hated by found powers of Pokémon and Undertale movie. Before we start, please go support Liton493 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Naruto is a male. Naruto Uzumaki, a red-haired boy with lavender eyes and 3 whisker marks on each cheek. But sadly, with only one eye. Naruko Uzumaki, a red-haired girl with eyes like the sky and 3 whisker marks on each cheek. Both siblings are hated by their people to the point of almost killing them. One day they find a chest that changes their lives. Prologue. Millennia ago, before the elemental nations existed, there were beings of different shapes and sizes called Pokémon. Pokémon and humans coexisted in peace and harmony. But one day, driven by greed, humans began to use Pokémon as slaves. Seeing this, Arceus, the creator god of Pokémon, punished humanity with a great drought, nearly wiping it out, while Arceus himself took it upon himself to safeguard and protect the Pokémon. A few millennia later. After the incident with Arceus and the Pokémon, humans began searching for another way to survive, as their aura was diminishing. In their search, they discovered a new energy source, which they called magic. This energy allowed them to recover plants and water. As the years passed, everyone became accustomed to using magic for their daily activities. At one point in history, a man named Merlin found several creatures, which he decided to call fantastic creatures. Upon hearing this, many were surprised. Few liked them, but many were terrified and began killing them. This led Merlin to hide the creatures to protect them. Millions of years later. After that, everything went downhill again for humanity. Over the years, magic was forgotten, giving way to normal life. After many generations, the era of Kaguya Otsutsuki, also known as the Rabbit Goddess, arrived. With her, the era of chakra began. Kaguya had sons, Hagoromo and Homura, who dedicated themselves to teaching chakra. But one day, Kaguya wanted the chakra back, so her sons imprisoned her. Years later, after her death, in the world of the dead and undead, Hagoromo met Merlin and Arceus. The trio had a vision that 2 brothers would protect Pokémon, fantastic beasts, and new creatures. With that, the years passed until the era of the elemental nations began, and the story of Naruto and Naruko began. Chapter 1. It's a beautiful night, the birds are sleeping, and the flowers are closing. On nights like these, the children sleep peacefully. Unfortunately, this is not the case for our protagonists. Naruto Uzumaki, a red-haired boy with lavender eyes, was being attacked by a mob of villagers, while his sister, Naruko Uzumaki, defended him. They both knew why they were being attacked, but they didn't understand why the villagers were so ignorant. Continuing the story, at one point Naruto was struck due to his carelessness, causing him to fall near his sister. Villager 1. It's time for those damn demons to die. Villager 2. Yes, it's time to finish what the 4th started. With that, the mob turned on the children and continued beating them. After 2 hours, the mob left, leaving the brothers seriously injured. Just then, an old man arrived, agitated. This was Hiruzen Sarutobi. Upon seeing the children, he rushed toward them. Hiruzen. Naruto, Naruko. Naruto. Weakly he. Hiruzen. Hold on, Anbu. But that, 3 Anbus leave. Hiruzen. Nico, let's take Naruto and Naruko to my house. The other 2, find your attackers, now. But that, the Anbu obey the order while Hiruzen and Nico take Naruto and Naruko to the Sarutobi residence. Sarutobi residence. Back at the Sarutobi residence, Hiruzen and Nico were tending to the Uzumaki duo's wounds. Although they knew the chakra of the beast within them was healing them, they continued to treat them. Just then, Naruto woke. Naruto. Where am I? Opens his eyes suddenly Naruko. But that said, Naruto quickly gets up to look to his right and finds his sister asleep, then brings her closer to him. Naruto. Naruko, Naruko. With that, the aforementioned begins to wake up. Naruko. Ani-chan. Naruto just hugs his sister. Naruto. I was worried about you. Naruko. Don't worry, Ani-chan, I'm fine. They just looked at each other and slowly moved closer. They were so close they could feel each other's breath, but suddenly the door opened, startling the duo. Hiruzen. Children. With that, the old man approaches and hugs the pair, who were somewhat blushing. Hiruzen. I'm glad you're alright, but what were you doing out at this hour? Naruko. Well, notices Nico hi Yugao ni. Naruto. Notices Yugao hi Yugao ni. Yugao. Hello little ones, I'm glad you're alright, but as Hokage-sama said, what were you doing out at this hour? They both look at each other to nod and see the adults. Naruto. We have something to show you. That left the adults in doubt. Somewhere in the forest. Yugao, Hiruzen, Naruko, and Naruto can be seen walking through the forest seemingly aimlessly. Hiruzen. Kids, are you sure you know where we're going? Naruto. Of course, They continued walking until they ended up in front of a rock that appeared to have been placed there on purpose. Yugao. What is this place, kids? Naruko. Well, we found a chest here a few hours ago before. Naruto. You'd better not continue, Naru-chan. Naruko blushed at the way her brother called her. She liked it when he called her that since she secretly loved him, even though it was quite obvious. But she was pulled from her thoughts by the sound of a stone falling. She immediately went to help her brother retrieve the object they had hidden. Once outside, it was revealed to be a chest. Hiruzen. A chest. Naruto. Yes, but we don't know what's inside. Yugao, can we borrow your sword? The woman was surprised but reluctantly agreed. Taking the sword, Naruto used the tip to break the lock that sealed the chest, releasing 3 entities. The first resembled a horse with a large ring around its torso. The second was a man with a large hood and a staff topped with a rock. And the third was another man, but with wrinkled grayish skin, horns, a robe, and a staff adorned with rings. Seeing the 3, Naruto assumed a defensive stance to protect his sister, Naruko. Despite her fear, she moved to help her brother. Yugao took a position to protect everyone present and Hiruzen, despite his advanced age, stood guard to protect his grandchildren. Horse. Relax, we won't hurt you. Naruko. How can we trust you? Man 1. Calm down, little Naruko. Naruto. How do you know my sister's name? Man 2. We know who you are because we were watching you even while you were inside the box. Horse. To show you we're trustworthy, we'll tell you our names. My name is Arceus, creator god of creatures called Pokémon. Man 1. My name is Merlin. In my time, I was known as the Great Wizard Merlin. Man 2. And my name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, also known as the Sage of Six Paths. The quartet were in shock. Before them, if it was true, stood a god, a magician, and the Rakuto Sennin himself. Hiruzen. I'd say stop lying, but seeing as you came out of a box, that's impossible to say. Arceus. Don't worry, human. But getting back to the main topic, we're here to give you 2 little ones a mission. Naruko. A mission. Merlin. Yes, little one. Naruto. What mission? Hagoromo. You see, millennia ago there were many creatures. Your mission will be to take care of them. We know it's a lot for children, but we have faith in you. Besides, you'll learn in time. That shocked the quartet. They never thought this would happen. Hiruzen. If that's the case, I'll give them their parents' house. Yugao. Hokage-sama, do they already know about their parents? Hiruzen. Yes, Yugao, they are your children, they are my grandchildren, they must know. Besides, their godfather already knows what's happening to them, and even though he can't be with them because of the council, he's keeping an eye on them. Upon hearing that, the brothers were happy. Their own godfather is aware of them, and although he cannot do anything, he watches over them. Naruto. Thanks Jiji. Hiruzen simply nodded. With that, the duo turned to face the trio. Naruto. We accept. Naruko. But we want a list with pictures of the creatures so we can tell them apart. The men smiled as Arceus felt proud that the Uzumakas had accepted, even knowing the burden. With that, Merlin handed them the list of creatures, surprising the children with its length. Naruto. It's great that we know how to make shadow clones, right Naru-chan? Naruko. Yes, Naru-kun. Naruto just blushed while inside he was happy because he was in love with his sister and wished she would tell him that. Arceus. I entrust my creations to you. Merlin. I entrust the creatures I once encountered. Hagoromo. And I entrust the creatures that are scattered about. With that, the 3 disappear, leaving the brothers with a great mission. To take care of the creatures on the list. Chapter 2. Time jump. The years have passed since Hagoromo, Merlin, and Arceus entrusted the care of the creatures to the Uzumaki siblings. During this time, several things happened. Hiruzen gave them his parents' house, and the duo subsequently expanded the property and made the courtyard larger. The mobs continued to harass them to such an extent that Kakashi Haddock, the former student of the Uzumakas' father, pierced Naruto's chest under the pretext that he was the Nine Tails Kyuubi. Fortunately, he didn't die. Hiruzen announced that those who again attempted to harm Naruto and Naruko would be executed. The duo managed to establish a friendly relationship with both parts of the Nine Tails, even releasing them to improve their relationship. They both found, literally, all the creatures. It wasn't easy, but they succeeded. They both entered the academy, not only to maintain appearances, but also because they wanted to become ninjas and thus better protect their creatures. Last but not least, they both confessed their feelings, beginning a relationship that goes beyond that of siblings. They began an affair. At this moment, they were both walking to the academy holding hands while receiving hateful looks from the villagers, but they didn't even flinch. Naruko. I'm excited, aren't you, Naru-kun? It's the best I could do. 3. Naruto. Yes, I'm excited too, Naruheim. Naruko let out a small giggle. Naruko. I love it when you call me Naruheim. Naruto. And I love it when you call me Naru-kun. They looked at each other and kissed, grateful that no one was watching. After parting, they headed towards the living room. As they entered, they attracted attention as Ino and Hinata arrived with them. Hinata realized at age 8 that what she felt for Naruto was admiration, not love. Ino is a very good friend to both of them. Ino takes the ninja career seriously. Ino. Hey guys, did you bring anyone? Naruko. Yeah. I begged Naru-kun to let me bring one, and he agreed. Naruto and Naruko's classmates know about the creatures they take care of. Kiba is cool. Naruto just laughed nervously as Kiba, Shikamaru, Choji, and Shino arrived. Naruto. Hey guys. The quartet. Hey Naruto. Kiba. Hey dude, did you bring anyone? Naruto. Yeah, since Naruheim brought one, why shouldn't I? With that, they opened their backpacks, and 2 creatures emerged. Well, one ran toward something shiny, while the other looked like a black and red cat. Naruto. Come here. With that, Naruto jumps and catches the creature. Naruko. Seriously, an Ifler? Naruto. And you, a Litten. They both just smiled to show off the creatures, while others watched the animals curiously. But a trio. Sasuke. What idiots. Sakura. You're right, Sasuke-kun. Shion. My sister looks so stupid with that stuff. Shion is Hinata's twin sister, only blonde, since her father cheated on her mother. Another thing, Hinata, Hanabi and Hana who is alive live far from Hiashi's house, since Hana and Hiashi divorced, with Hana having custody of Hinata and Hanabi, and Hiashi having custody of Shion. At that moment, Iruka enters with Mitsuki, making both Uzumakas hide their respective animals. Iruka. Okay kids, sit down. With that, everyone sits down, beginning the final exam. I'm too lazy to write everything out so I'll just say the results. Exams. Women. Naruko 100%. Ino 95%. Hinata 90%. Shion 55%. Sakura 50%. Civils 30%. Men. Naruto 100%. Shikamaru 80%, for problematic. Joji 75%. Kiba 74%. Shino 70%. Sasuke 40%. Civilians 45%. Kunai and Shuriken throwing. Kunai Shuriken. Women. Naruko 10/10. Ino 9/9. Hinata 9/9, this surprised Hiashi. Shion 6/6, this disappointed him. Sakura 5/6. Civilians 5/5. Men. Naruto 10/10. Shikamaru 8/8, because he's lazy. Joji 8/8. Kiba 9/8, this made his mother proud. Shino 8/8. Sasuke 7/7. Civilians 5/5. Combat. Women's winner. Naruko, barely beating Hinata. Men's winner. Naruto, barely beating Kiba. They were all standing in front of Iruka. Iruka. Alright, the rookies of the year are Naruto Uzumaki and Naruko Uzumaki. Emo fans. Why them? That title belongs to Sasuke-kun. Iruka. Silence. Everyone falls silent. With that, Iruka hands the ninja headbands to the Uzumakas, making them happy. Iruka. Good, come back tomorrow so I can tell you your teams. You can go now. But that said, everyone went home. Chapter 3. The next morning. Everyone was in the living room waiting for Iruka when Naruto and Naruko entered riding on top of a new creature. Sakura. Squealing, what the hell is that? Everyone except Sasuke and Shion ignored the beep to look at Sakura, but NaruNaru was very annoyed, so much so that they were glaring at her, making her shudder. Naruto. You'd better shut up unless you want a slow and painful death, because we won't allow you to say such things about this beautiful creature. Naruko. And if you say anything right now, I'll kill you in a very slow and very painful way, got it? Sakura just nodded out of fear, and also because she had literally wet herself. NaruNaru got off the creature to pet her. Naruko. Relax Sylvie, don't listen to that tabla, relax. The creature named Sylvie relaxed, becoming happy again. Just then, Iruka entered, and Sylvie jumped out the window and hid in the vegetation. Iruka. Well, it's good to see you. I know it will be the last time, but let me tell you that I'm proud of you all. Without further ado, I'll tell you your teams. The other teams are not relevant. Equipo 10. Shikamaru Nara, Uno Yamanaka y Choji Akimichi. Sensei, Asuma Saratobi. Naruto. Congratia Eli no Shikacho. Iruka. Equipo 9. End circulation. Equipo 8. Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka y Shino Aburam. Sensei, Kurina Yuhi. Equipo 7. Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Chiha y Shion Hyuga. Sensei, Kakashi Haddock. The girls squealed to be with Sasuke, but they noticed something. Sakura. Ha, looks like that pair of idiots won't have a team. Haruka. Actually, they are a team, and they'll be under the command of the Hokage-sama himself. That surprised everyone. A duo that was a team, under the command of the Hokage himself, nobody believed it. Sakura. How is that possible? Haruka. As far as I understand, Hokage-sama trusts them completely, so if you have something to say, go and tell him. Nobody said anything. They didn't want to mess with Hiruzen. Haruka. Well, without further ado, I'll take my leave. But that said, Haruka leaves, leaving everyone waiting for their sensei. 2 hours later. After all the sensei had arrived, only Team 7 and NaruNaru remained. The duo decided to stay behind to avoid any misunderstandings. At that moment, Kakashi entered to check on his team and glared at the Uzumaki duo with hatred. Kakashi. Team 7, with me, now. But that, he disappears in a puff of smoke, and then Team 7 withdraws. Naruko. Nos vemos Naru-kun. Naruto. See Naru-heim. But that, they both jump out the window and then look for Sylvie, finding him behind some bushes. Naruto. Dude, let's go. But that, the duo gets on to head towards their destination. Chapter 4. NaruNaru Residence. There was a house with a large yard, nothing out of the ordinary. Or so it would seem if it weren't for the creatures that lived there. If we got closer, we'd see a wide variety of creatures resembling monkeys, insects, dragons, and so on. But anyway, let's go inside the house where we saw Naruto cooking while Naruko set the table. Naruto. Naru-chan. Naruko. Yes, Naru-kun. Naruto. Did you tell Gigi that the food is almost ready? Naruko. Yes, he told me he was coming here. Naruto. Okay, thanks. They continued working when they heard a knock at the door, so Naruko went to answer it. When she arrived and opened the door, she ran into Hiruzen. Naruko. Hello, Grandpa. Hiruzen. Hello, little one, may I come in? Naruko. Stepping aside, sure. But that, they both walk through the yard, being watched by the animals, until one resembling a green branch perches on the old man's shoulder. Hiruzen. And this little guy? Naruko. That little guy is a Botruckle. Hiruzen simply nodded as he placed a Botruckle on his shoulder. Upon arriving, they saw Naruto cooking, but another creature arrived carrying some things. Naruto. Thanks Riolu. Riolu nodded, leaving the three of them there. Hiruzen. Hola Naruto-kun. Upon hearing it, the person named turns around. Naruto. Hi Gigi. Naruko. Is the food ready, Naru-kun? Naruto. Yes, I just needed some honey from the hive. Naruko. Okay. Sees Hiruzen sit down, Grandpa. Hiruzen. Thank you. But that, everyone sits down to start eating. Hiruzen. Alright kids, you know you're a team of 2 without a sensei. Naruto. Yeah, he. Hiruzen. Okay, your first mission will be to keep an eye on Team 7. That made the duo serious. Hiruzen. I know you don't like the idea, but I feel that team will be the worst. They both sighed in resignation. Naruko. Okay, Grandpa, but we want double pay. Hiruzen. Done. The next day. Naruto and Naruko were at training ground 7, both eager to finish so they could get paid and take care of their children, who, despite their number, brought them joy. They continued waiting when they heard something approaching. Turning around, they saw teams 8 and 9 with their respective sensei. Naruto. Guys, what are you doing here? Hinata. We came to see what our favorite couple is up to. Kiba. And to lend them a hand. Naruko. Thanks, guys. With that, everyone positions themselves to see who started it. Of Team 7. Kakashi. Well, you'll have to take these bells from me. Shion. But there are only 2. Kakashi. Good eyesight, yes, there are only 2, so whoever doesn't get a bell will be sent back to the academy. Sakushion. You can't do that. The scream was so loud that it almost deafened everyone. But the boys. Naruto. Damn, her scream really hurts. Naruko. What? After 30 minutes the beeping stopped and they began to see the test. Upon seeing the test, everyone said the same thing. Everyone. Pathetic. They continued on to see that the team barely made it past just for inviting a teammate for food. Naruto. I feel like this was a waste of time. The rest nodded. Naruko. I'll do the report. Naruto. Okay. But that, everyone leaves with the thought that Team 7 would be the worst of this generation. Chapter 5. Some time later. After the supposed mission, the Uzumaki duo began undertaking more missions, including D, C, B, A, and some S-rank missions. The duo was known among the genin, except for Team 7, who didn't care about them, as the Blood-Sun duo, blood from Naruto and Sun from Naruko, since the higher the rank of the missions, the greater the brutality. They also continued to monitor Team 7, providing information to Hiruzen so he would see that they were the worst team. Currently, we find ourselves at the NaruNaru residence. It was just dawn. The birds were waking up and the flowers were beginning to bloom. In one room, there was a bed with two covered figures. These figures were Naruto and Naruko, with Naruto waking up in the sunlight. Lemon skipped. Naruto. Yeah. Looks at her, I love you. Naruko. Looks at him, I love you too. With that, they both kissed to get some sleep. Chapter 6. Hours after their passionate encounter, they both got out of bed. Naruko felt a little uncomfortable about having had sex with her lover, but she didn't regret it. She had already given herself body and soul to him. They started going about their daily activities when Naruto had an idea. Naruto. Love. Upon hearing that, Naruko blushed and felt happy at the same time. Naruko. Tell me, love. The same thing happened with Naruto. Naruto. I have a proposal. Naruko. Tell me. Naruto. What if we ask Gigi if we can request a B rank mission? It would be helping us take care of the creatures. I know it should be a C rank, but considering the number and the difference between the creatures, it would be a B rank. Naruko. I was actually thinking about that too. Naruto. I'll finish feeding the Akami and then we'll go. Naruko. Okay, I'll finish with the Charmander. Naruto. Yes. With that, they both retreat to finish their respective tasks with the two types of creatures. But with two nine-tailed foxes. Bing. I can't wait to see them suffer like we did helping them. Yang. Yeah, but remember the tunnels we built, like the one we used for, you know. Bing. Yeah. Let's continue. With that, both foxes continue their work, one of which is feeding those who look like foxes v. Hokage's office. Hiruzen could be seen dealing with the paperwork. Hiruzen. Kami, help me to rest. Just then there's a knock at the door. Hiruzen, thank you Kami. Come in. With that, the door will open, revealing itself to NaruNaru. Hiruzen. What do you need, kids? Naruto. Well, Gigi, there's something we want to ask you. Hiruzen. I'm listening. Naruko. Well, what we've come to tell you is that we want to request a mission, not ask, request. Hiruzen. I see. And do Yin and Yang agree? Hiruzen already knows both parts of the Kyuubi, so after a while they get along well. Naruko. Yes. Hiruzen. Well, what's the mission you're requesting? I have an idea. Naruto. Yes. We want to request a mission to help care for the creatures. It'll be a B rank mission. Hiruzen. I figured. But I agree, I'll request it. Which teams do you want to help you? Naruko. Even though we don't want to, we want all the teams to help us. Hiruzen. I understand, Team 7. Naruto. Nodding yes. Hiruzen. Okay, I'll let the teams know. Naruko. Thanks Grandpa. But that said, they both leave, but before they go. Naruko. Grandpa, use shadow clones for the paperwork. But that, they finally left. Meanwhile, Hiruzen was left in shock and began to cry comically. Hiruzen. Thank you Naruko-chan. With that, he creates 5 shadow clones while he starts calling the teams. Time skip jutsu. All the teams could be seen in front of Hiruzen. But one was missing, and that was Kakashi. Hiruzen. Seeing as they haven't arrived, Team 7 will be removed from the list for this mission. Sasuke. He can't do that. Shion. Yes, he can't. Hiruzen. Be quiet. I am the Hokage, so you don't have the right to shout at me. Asuma. That's right. Besides, it's disrespectful. Then Kakashi enters with an orange book. Kakashi. Me. Hiruzen. You're late. And that's why you won't be participating in this mission. That surprised Kakashi, who looked up from his book. Kakashi. Puro Hokage-sama. Hiruzen. Puro nada. Kakashi just lowered his head. Hiruzen. Well, does everyone know Naruto and Naruko? That caught their attention, but they nodded, although Kakashi did so reluctantly. Hiruzen. And do you know that you are the children of the 4th Hokage and Kushina Uzumaki? Everyone felt it, except for Team 7, who were surprised. Hinata. What's this about, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen. Well, they came to request a mission, which is to help them take care of the creatures they're looking after. That surprised everyone. Kakashi analyzed the situation until he put everything together and was shocked. He had attempted to endanger the lives of his sensei's children and his wife. Team Guy will help. Kurenai. Mine too. Asuma. And mine. Kakashi. Me too. Everyone saw Kakashi. Hiruzen. No. Not only are you late, but you also endangered the lives of your sensei's children and his wife. So, no. Kakashi just lowered his head. Hiruzen. Alright, you're all gone. You must be there tomorrow at 6 AM. Team 7. Yes. But that said, everyone left while Hiruzen drafted a message to summon a bird and send the message. Meanwhile at the NaruNaru residence. At the NaruNaru residence, the duo was well, they were. NaruNaru room. Splash. 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 That's what you could hear. And if you looked, you'd see Naruko in bed moaning in doggy style while wearing an Ahegao expression. Behind her, Naruto could be seen stabbing her. Lemon skipped. Naruto. It's a message from Gigi. Upon hearing that, Naruko stood up to sit next to Naruto, who opened the paper. Use. Hey guys, I'm sending this message to let you know that all the teams, except for Team 7 because Kakashi arrived late, accepted the mission. I hope you're all doing well. See you tonight. At Hiruzen Sarutobi. After finishing reading the note, they both smiled at each other and shared a quick kiss. Naruto. This is going to be exciting. Naruko. Yeah, though I have a feeling we'll still see Team 7. Naruto. I had the same feeling. Naruko. Well, stands up, I think we'd better get ready. Naruto. As he stands up, you're right. Naruko. Let's go take a bath. Naruto. Yeah. With that, they both head to the bathroom to take a shower and maybe have another round of Hex. Chapter 7. The next day. Teams 8, 9 and 10 were seen heading to the NaruNaru house. Hinata. This will be exciting, don't you think, Kiba-kun? Kiba. Yes, Hinata-chan. Niji. Fate dictates that this will be easy for me. Hinata. Yeah, right. When you see Horntail, you won't say the same. Lee. When they turned around, they saw Kakashi with his team. Kurenai. What are you doing here, Kakashi? Kakashi. Well, I actually managed to get the Hokage to give us a chance. Many looked at him accusingly until Shino intervened. Shino. Tailhorn. Upon hearing this, everyone turns to look at him, not understanding, well, only Hinata. Hinata. Yes. The Hungarian Horntail, a dragon. Naruko showed me a baby one of these, they're awesome. Tenten. I remember now, Naruto showed me a black Hebridean. Hinata. That one's really dangerous. Tenten. I know. Kurenai. You guys seem to know a lot. Hinata. Well, like I said, you both brought a Horntail and a Hebridean, and we met them. They continued walking until they reached the gates. We're here. Kurenai. I hope you don't do anything stupid, Kakashi. Kakashi. You're insulting me, Kurenai. Kurenai. I'm serious, we don't even know what you're capable of anymore. You almost murdered your sensei's children. Kakashi just lowered his head. Asuma knocked on the door a couple of times and after a few minutes it opened, revealing Naruto with an animal. Naruto. Hello, welcome. Hinata. Hello, and what's that animal? Naruto. It's a Flareon. Then another animal arrives. Kakashi. A fox. Naruto. It's a Fennekin, a fox Pokémon. It's not a follower of you-know-who. If you thought that, you're an idiot. My father would be disappointed in you. That said, it was a very hard blow for Kakashi. Naruto. Putting that aside, follow me. With that, they all started walking while watching various creatures. Kiba. Wow, that's a lot of creatures. Naruto. Jokingly, and there are more to come. Niji. Destiny dictates that it will be easy. Naruto just stopped to look at him. Naruto. If you say it's so easy, then feed the Nundu. Niji. It'll be easy. But the Nundu. Niji. Looking at the Nundu, this has to be a joke. Naruto. No, you must feed these Nundu and then the Akami. Niji just glanced at him, thinking it was a joke. But when he looked into his eyes, he realized it wasn't. Tori Hokage. In the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen, the Shinobi Council, and the Civil Council could be seen looking out of the crystal ball. Hiruzen. Looking at the Civilian Council, I still maintain that you shouldn't be here. Kaheru. On the contrary, we need to be aware of what's happening with the missions. Hiruzen. That's the Shinobi Council's responsibility. You only handle the civilians. The Civil Council remained silent as they continued watching the ball. But the Genin. Sasuke. I won't do that. Naruko. Fine, don't, but rest assured we'll tell the Hokage. Sasuke. You wouldn't dare. Naruko. Try me. Sasuke simply resigned himself to going with the animals. Naruto. You seriously named them Murtlip? Naruko. Yep. Naruto. You're mean. And I like that. With that, they both kissed to continue. Tori Hokage. Mabuki. Disgusted Hokage-sama, if you realize they're committing incest. Hiruzen. In the Uzumaki clan, that was normal. Mabuki just remained silent. But the Jonin. Los Rhyhorn. Naruto. Yes. Since they're ground and rock types and they love to fight, you're the best choice. Okay. Naruto. Kurenai-sensei, since you're a Genjutsu specialist, who better to handle the psychic-type Pokémon? Kurenai. I'll do my best. Naruto. Good. Asuma-sensei, you'll take care of the fire types. Asuma. Okay. Kakashi. And me. Naruto. You take care of the electric types, Haddock. Kakashi nodded, unaware that he would have a difficult time. Naruto. And one more thing. And this goes for everyone. That caught the team's attention. Naruto. He who does not work, does not eat. Hori Hokage. Faharu. I don't think he's capable of that. Hiruzen. Yes, he is. Once he did nothing and didn't eat. Another time Naruko did nothing and she was the one who didn't eat. But the teams. Shion. She's not capable. Hinata. I say she is. Shion ignored him and went to sit down doing nothing. Hori Hokage. Hiruzen. I see someone isn't going to eat. Hiashi. Is what he said true? Hiruzen. Yes. Now everyone felt sorry for them. But the teams. Everyone was working, but when Sasuke went to pick up a creature, it backed away in terror. Sasuke. You pair of idiots, what's wrong with this thing? The Uzumaki duo turned to see what animal it was, and as if it were faster than their father's jutsu, they were already close. Naruto. Stay away. Sasuke. But. Naruto. I said stay away. Naruko. Come here, little one. With that, the creature approached her so that she could take it. Sasuke. What's that? Naruko. This is a Killin, a magical animal that can see souls. And if it backed away in fear, it's because you have a rotten soul. Chapter 8. Hori Hokage. Everything was silent. No one could believe it. An animal had seen Sasuke's soul, and just by observing the animal's behavior, Naruko declared that he had a rotten soul. Mabuki. It's a joke, right? Hiruzen simply removed his pipe from his mouth. Hiruzen. No, the Killin is a magical creature that can see your soul, whether it's good or evil. But if the Killin starts trembling, that means your soul is corrupted. Nobody said anything. But the teams. Nobody said anything. They were surprised by what was said. Naruko. I know you're surprised, but I'll tell you. A Killin is an animal that can see your soul. We'll give you one chance, but only one. Naruto. Accept, or leave. Sasuke remained silent, resuming his activities. This relieved NaruNaru. Naruto. Good choice. Naruko. Let's continue. Goes to the Killin, I'll take you to your mother, little one. With that, Naruko leaves the place, leaving Naruto alone as he looked at her from behind. Naruto. You'd be a fabulous mother. Would you be okay with getting pregnant by me? I'd better not think about it. Yang. Damn, he already wants to have kids. I'd better not rush him. With that, Naruto leaves while Yang falls asleep. But the grass-type Pokémon. Ino could be seen with food that appeared to be fertilizer. Ino. Who would have thought grass-type Pokémon would eat this? Shino. They eat other things, but they prefer this. Ino. Well, let's get to work. With that, start feeding, beginning with the Fomantis. He continued feeding them until he had finished with them all. Ino. Okay. Now let's move on to the bug types. Given that, Shino already had several things to feed the Pokémon of that type. Shino. Serious but excited, then let's go. Ino only saw that with a drop of sweat, but she went with him anyway. With Niji. Niji could be seen continuing to feed the Nundu. Niji. Okay, I said it would be easy, but it isn't. It takes me. Denton. I knew you couldn't do it. Niji. And you. Denton. A little. I'll help you with the Akami. Niji. Alright. With that, Tenten went to feed the Akamis. NaruNaru. They were both finishing feeding the Chupacabras. When he finishes with the last Naruto, he takes Naruko to a secluded spot and they begin kissing. After 3 minutes, they separate, panting for air. Naruko. Naru-kun. Naruto. Sorry. Naruko. You were wanting my kisses, weren't you? Naruto. I want you more, my beautiful blonde. Naruko. Naru. With that, they both kiss again. But the sensei. Kakashi. Arriving all singed, I hate electric types. Upon seeing this, the rest of the sensei began to laugh. You look funny, the good thing is it didn't take me long. Asuma Kurenai. Nor us. Kakashi. Lucky you. Hori Hokage. Everyone was either laughing or holding back laughter at how Kakashi arrived. Joza. But seriously, how did it end up like that? Hiruzen. Well, it's because electric types feed on a little electricity. Shikaku. And since Kakashi is a master of that element, they asked him to, I don't know, charge some object with electricity. Hiruzen. As clever as ever. Danzo. And what about the Akami? Hiruzen. Let them explain. Danzo was annoyed, but he didn't show it. But the genin. Xian was sitting looking at her nails when her stomach growled. Xian. Someone bring me something to eat. But nobody paid her any attention. That made her angry. Xian. Bring me some food. Lee. Shut up and get to work. Xian. Don't yell at me. Lee. Then get off your ass and get to work. Xian was surprised. She hadn't expected anyone to yell at her. But she wasn't the only one. Those who knew him were surprised, but they accepted it. The brat was very spoiled. Hori Hokage. Hiashi. How embarrassing. Nabuki. Yes, that brat yelled at Xian-sama. Hiashi. Not him, my daughter. He embarrassed me and the clan as well. But the genin. NaruNaru. The couple were leaving the place where they had hidden, looking a little disheveled. Naruko. That was a quickie. Naruto. I know. Naruko. Let's get back to work. Naruto. Nodding yeah. But that, they both separated to continue their activities. Time skip. Everyone was gathered. Naruto. Okay, now let's move on to the last animals. The dragons. Hinata. I want the horntail. Naruko. I know you love the horntail, but I don't think so. Naruto. Leave her alone, Naru-chan. Besides, remember that horntails like Hinata. Naruko. Sigh fine. With that, everyone heads towards the dragons. Hori Hokage. Hiruzen. Now we'll see the dragons. Everyone was paying close attention, especially Danzo. But the genin. They were arriving at the place. Upon arriving, they were surprised to see the dragons. Naruto. Well, these are the dragons. The Chinese fireball. The Hungarian horntail. The common Welsh green. The black Hebridean. The Swedish short snout. The Ukrainian ironbelly. The Romanian longhorn. The Antipodean opali. The Norwegian ridgeback. And the Peruvian viper tooth. Upon seeing all the dragons, the genin were surprised, but one wanted the animals for himself, and that was the youth of the generation. Hori Hokage. Everyone was speechless. They had just seen the dragons. Danzo. Hiruzen, I say we use the dragons as weapons for the good of Konoha. Hiruzen. Try it and you'll both be killed. That's all I'm saying. Danzo just frowned slightly. But the genin. Sakura. Are we going to feed those things? NaruNaru glared at her with murderous eyes, leaving a stain on his shorts. Naruto. Well, if we're going to feed them, but first. Naruto inhales along with Naruko. Naruto Naruko. Max. Lily. Chapter 9. I didn't know why they were screaming. I thought they were crazy until two dogs came in from the entrance. Max. Lily. Naruko. Hello Lily. Lily. Hello Naruko. They were surprised to hear the dog speak. Xian. What the hell? Naruto. This is Max. Max. Hi. Naruko. And this is Lily. Lily. Hi. Kakashi. What are you? Naruto. They're Temis, a breed of dog from Waterfall. Kiba. Where is Waterfall? Naruto. I'm sorry, but Max and Lily are the last of their kind. We went looking for an Akami once and found them. If we had left them, they would have died. Kiba was surprised, but thanked the Uzumaki brothers for such an act of kindness. Hori Hokage. Sum. What a great act of kindness from the boys. Hiruzen. That's just how they are. Sum smiled. Despite being closer to canines, she appreciates all animal species. But the genin. Naruto. Well, claps, let's start feeding the dragons. But that said, everyone started feeding the dragons, some fearfully, others cheerfully, and some seriously. There were also cases where they almost ate some genin, but that was due to carelessness. Hori Hokage. Danzo. I still say leave them to me so I can make them loyal to Konoha. Many saw how they almost ate some of them. Hiruzen. That was because they were careless. Danzo. Even so. They can be a danger. Hiruzen. They're not a danger. I went there once, and I assure you they're not a danger. Danzo was frustrated. He wanted the dragons as weapons, and now that they could only be eaten by accident, that bothered him. But the genin. They were all almost finished feeding when Silvally arrived, startling Team 7. Naruto. Hey buddy, do you need anything? Silvally simply nodded and gestured for Naruto to follow, which he did. Everyone witnessed this until Naruko suddenly stood up. Naruko. Now that I think about it, we can invite the Hokage in the council, but not the shinobi. I'll talk to Naru-kun about that later. With that, he resumed his activities. After a few minutes, Naruto returned with a silver egg. Lee. What's that, Naruto? Naruto. Well, my bushy-browed friend, this is an Akami egg. Upon hearing that, everyone was surprised. But before they could say anything, they heard something break. The sound was like metal being struck by a bone. Hearing the sound, Naruko, faster than the flying thunder god technique, was already in front of Naruto with an excited expression. Seeing her excitement, everyone gathered around to witness the birth of the Akami. Hori Hokage. Everyone was watching the birth of the Akami. But the genin. The Akami egg was visible, showing small fractures on one side, then it lifted up, revealing a beak. The beak then pushed harder, and finally the fractures widened, breaking the egg and revealing the head that was pushing the most out. The scene ended with an image of the Akami inside the silver egg, making noises. Naruko. With stars in her eyes, I never get tired of watching the birth of fantastic creatures. Especially the Akamis. Naruto. Yeah, it's beautiful. Would the birth of our children be this beautiful? Yang. Mothers, this one already wants to be a father. Lee. How beautiful. Naruko. Isn't it? Sasuke. It was just the hatching of a stupid egg. But he regretted saying that the moment he felt the tense cold atmosphere. Seeing where it was coming from, he was surprised to see Naruko staring at him with lifeless eyes. I forgot to include Naruko. This is what she looks like right now, G. Naruko. What did you say? Upon hearing the distorted voice of the blonde, everyone felt a chill run down their spine. Sasuke. Literally filled with fear and nothing. Naruko. Smiling terrifyingly gently, you'd better. Hori Hokage. They were all filled with fear. They never believed Naruko would do that. But the Genin Hokage Tower. Everyone Naruto in his thoughts. Naruto in his thoughts. Yang, in his thoughts upon hearing Naruto's thoughts. Naruto. Putting that aside. That took everyone's fear out of them. Naruto. I'm going to leave the Akami. But that said, he returns to the nest where the Akami are kept. Chapter 10. After the terrifying moment, Naruko had to apologize. Just then, Naruto arrived and approached Naruko. Naruto. I got excited when you got angry. Naruko just blushed, looking like a tomato. Naruko. Babaka. Naruto. Jeej. But without anyone noticing, Naruto squeezes Naruko's right buttock, making her moan. Kakashi. Is something wrong? Naruko. Blushing and no, and nothing. Hori Hokage. Upon seeing the interaction between the two, there were two reactions. The men, who blushed and bled, and the women, who blushed deeply. But the genin. Naruto. Well, it's time to call the Hokage. Dreepy. With that, a Pokémon arrives at the location. Asuma. I checked those. Naruto. Yep, this is Dreepy, a dragon and ghost type Pokémon. That amazed everyone. Shikamaru. Shouldn't dragon types be with other dragons? Naruto. Everyone. Naruko. Well, we didn't think about it, but we think it would be a good idea. Naruto. Yeah. Okay, Dreepy, hands over the letter, take it to Jiji. Dreepy simply took the letter and retreated towards the Hokage Tower. Naruto. Well, I think it's time to finish. Naruko. Those who will lead are Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, Kiba, Shino, Lee, Niji, Tenten, Sasuke, Sakura, Hirokashi, Asuma-sensei, Kurenai-sensei, and Gai-sensei. Upon hearing Kakashi's nickname, everyone laughed, but one person noticed something. Shion. Why didn't you mention me? Naruko. Easy, because you didn't help at all. You were just cleaning your nails and being lazy. Naruto. Besides, if you didn't read the rules at the beginning, it said that whoever didn't help didn't eat. I went through that once. Naruko. Me too. Shion was surprised, she didn't believe it, she refused, but the evidence said so. Shion. It's not possible. Naruko. Well, it is. Naruto. Shino, come with me, let's go to the beehive for honey. Shino just nodded. Naruko. I'm going to make lunch. Looking at Shion, and if you want to eat, at least help me with the food. Shion just made a face of disgust, but he had to do it if he wanted to eat. Hori Hokage. The meeting had already ended when Dreepy entered, drawing everyone's attention. Upon reaching Hiruzen, she handed him the letter. Hiruzen took it and read it. After finishing, she turned to look at the council, both shinobi and civilian. Hiruzen. Well, Naruto is inviting me and the shinobi council to dinner. The civilian council will not be attending. The civil council was about to protest when a look silenced them. Resigned, they left the room. After waiting a few minutes, Hiruzen stood up. Hiruzen. Bien, Sigim. But the genin. Everyone was helping with dinner, although Shion was doing it reluctantly. But Naruto and Shino. These were arriving at the hive, leaving Shino amazed. Naruto. We're here. This is Kombi. And Bespiquin. They are bug and flying type Pokémon. Kombi and Bespiquin live in hives. This is where honey is produced. Shino. Wow. Naruto. Okay, let's go. With that, they both began to fill some bottles with honey. But the shinobi council and Hiruzen. They were walking towards the NaruNaru residence. Soon. Wow, it is quite far. Shikaku. That was to be expected, so many animals need more space. Hiruzen. Indeed, Shikaku-san. They continued walking until they reached the door, which Hiruzen knocked on. After a few seconds, it opened, revealing a Bellsprout. Inoichi. What's that? Hiruzen. It's a bellsprout, a grass poison type. Can we come in? Bellsprout. With its hand outstretched bells. Hiruzen took out the card for the Pokémon to read, followed by nodding and guiding everyone. But the genin. Naruko. She was cooking with the help of clones, Shion, Tenten, and Hinata. Shion. This is unheard of. Naruko. Well, don't worry, rest, but you won't eat. Shion just growled in anger. Then Sakura arrived. Sakura. Did she help them? Shion, Tenten, Hinata. No. Sakura just got sad and left. Naruko. Why did you do that? Shion. Sakura can't cook. If she does, it's terrible. I tried her food once and got food poisoning. Hinata. Once at the academy, she offered me a sandwich she made. I almost died of food poisoning. Tenten. One day I came home tired and hungry. She offered to cook for me, and I accepted. When I ate it, I almost died from how disgusting the food was. Naruko was surprised to hear all that. Naruko. And she hasn't asked for help. Tenten. Nobody wants to help her. Shion. Because they're afraid of ending up dead. Hinata. Besides being fussy and a bit of an airhead. Naruko. I see. But none of them noticed that Sakura was listening to everything. In the dining room. Everyone was finishing setting the table when they saw Sakura run out with tears in her eyes. Lee. What's wrong with him? Niji. I don't know. Ino. I'll go see. With that, Ino leaves but encounters the council and Hiruzen. Ino. Oh, Hokage-sama, I apologize, but I have to do something, but please come in. With that, Ino withdraws, letting Hiruzen and the council pass. Han Sakura. She was sitting next to a tree, hugging her legs and crying. Sakura. Why? Why? Why did you say those horrible things to me? Forehead. Upon hearing the voice, Sakura looks up, meeting Ino's gaze. Sakura. Pig. Ino. What's wrong, Sakura? Sakura. And nothing. Ino. Tell me, what happened? Sakura. It's just I overheard the girls saying something bad about my food. Ino. What did they say? Sakura. That it was horrible, that they almost died, and I don't believe that. Ino. I'm sorry, Sakura, but they didn't say anything to you because they were afraid this would happen. Sakura. Wait, you knew? Ino. It was for your own good, understand, we did it for you. Sakura stared at Ino, who began to sit down in front of her. Sakura. Because of me? Ino. Yes, because of you. It was all because of you. We knew you wanted to do your best when cooking, but you didn't have the experience or the skill. Understand, this was because of you. Sakura stared into his blue eyes while Ino gazed into his green ones. They were so mesmerized by each other that they didn't realize they were slowly getting closer until they were both in shock. Chapter 11. Both women were in shock. They couldn't believe what was happening. They had just kissed. Two women had just kissed. But they both liked it. So much so that they closed their eyes to embrace each other and begin caressing one another, and without realizing it, a bulge was growing in Sakura's private area. They continued like this until both Ino and Sakura felt the bulge in Sakura's private area. Ino. Blushing saw Sakura. Sakura. Blushing Ino. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's just. I didn't finish because Ino put her finger in his mouth. Ino. SHH, this is between you and me. With that, he puts his hand inside Sakura's shorts, surprised. Ino. Is that a henna I'm touching? Sakura was starting to shed tears again. Sakura. Sorry for being a freak. Ino. You're not a freak. Sakura. Then what? Ino didn't respond, she just kissed Sakura again, surprising her, but Sakura accepted. They both enjoyed the kiss. But they had to stop when they heard a voice. Hinata. Sakura, Ino, where are you? Upon hearing Hinata's voice, they both separated, blushing, while the pink-haired girl calmed her minor problem. Just then, Hinata arrived. Hinata. Here they are. Ino. Yes. Hinata. I apologize, Sakura-chan. Ino. Chan. Don't call my Sakura-chan that. Wait, since when is she mine? Damn, I think I'm in love with her forehead. Sakura. Don't worry about it. Hinata. Well, let's go. With that, Hinata retires. Ino. Sakura. Sakura. This stays between us. Ino simply nodded as they both got up and went to the dining room. In the dining room. Everyone was waiting until Hinata entered, followed 10 seconds later by Sakura and Ino. Naruko. Girls. Sakura, the truth is. Sakura. Relax, Ino already explained everything to me. Naruko. Sigh, what a relief. Shino, run fast. Shino. That's what I'm trying to do, you idiot. Just then Naruto and Shino arrive with some stings and some bottles of honey. Naruko. Naru. runs towards him. What happened to you guys? Naruto? Asked this crazy guy. Naruko? Looking at Shino. What did you do? Shino? I accidentally touched a combi egg. Naruko? Shino? Okay, I meant to take a combi egg. Naruko? Are you an idiot? Shino? Sorry. Naruko just rubbed her temple with an angry grimace. Naruko? Troublesome. Shino? Sorry. Naruko? Looking at Naruto. And why didn't you stop him? Naruto? Because I was trying to avoid getting stung, touching an egg, collecting honey, and listening for when they called us, just in case. Naruko? I see. Well, grab some bottles, let's go. With that, everyone returns. And they put the bottles away, watched by everyone. Once in the dining room, everyone was enjoying the food while Sakura glanced sideways at Ino. Sakura? While eating, why can't I get Ino out of my head, besides her soft creamy beautiful lips? Wait, what are you saying? Focus, Sakura. But, now that I think about it, she's beautiful, and her breasts are a B cup, her waist, her butt. Wait, I have an erection. Looks down and sees a bulge in his groin, then looks back up and continues eating. How embarrassing. Ino. Damn it, Sakura, I can't get you out of my head. Why didn't I ever realize how beautiful you are? And your lips, they were soft. Shit, I think I'm in love, and it's with a girl. Naruto. So, what did you think of the mission? Did you enjoy watching it? Hiruzen. Yes. Joza. Wait, how did you know we were watching? Naruko. Magic. Hiruzen. Revelio. Naruko. Yep, Revelio. Sakura. What's Revelio? Naruto. It's a spell that lets us see invisible things. Shikaku. But we saw through Hokage-sama's crystal ball. Naruto. Yeah, but when you see something in that ball, an invisible eye appears. Shikaku. I see. Naruko. Wingardium Leviosa. Upon hearing her, everyone saw her holding a wooden wand. But what impressed them most was seeing a bottle levitate toward the table. Sakuino. Awesome. Naruko. Right. Naruto. Let's keep eating. They all nodded and continued eating. Exit from the NaruNaru residence. Everyone was at the exit. Naruko. I hope you like the place. Hiruzen. Yes, well, see you later, and thank you for the honey. Naruko. It was a pleasure, see you later. With that, everyone leaves. Time skip jutsu. Naruko was in the bathroom taking a shower when she suddenly felt something against her rear end. When she turned around, she saw Naruto naked. Naruko. Naru-kun. Naruto. Hi Naru-chan. May I? Naruko. Sure. But that said, they both begin to have a pleasant shower. Lemon skipped. Naruko turned her head to kiss Naruto. When they separated, a strand of saliva connected them. Naruto. I think we'll have to take another bath. Naruko just laughed so they could both resume their shower. Chapter 12. Konoha Street, night. The figure could be seen walking aimlessly. This figure was Sakura Haruno. It was clear she couldn't sleep. Sakura. Damn it, get out of my pig head. She continued walking until she turned a corner, bumping into someone and falling. Sakura. Ugh, look. Lifts her face Ino. Ino. Lifts her face Sakura. What are you doing here? Sakura. I'm asking you the same thing. What are you doing here? Ino. I can't sleep. Sakura. Me too. They both remain in an awkward silence. Sakura. This is awkward. Ino. Yeah. Sakura. Is what you said true? That you didn't see me as a freak for being a woman with a penis? Ino. Yes. It's all true. I don't see you as a freak. Sakura simply looked up, prompting Ino to do the same. They gazed at each other as they began to lean closer, their lips meeting. Ino then sat on Sakura's lap as they kissed, the dangerous girl pressed against the wall. They continued like that until a clap of thunder was heard, followed by a downpour that soaked them. Ino. Damn. Sakura. I know a motel nearby. Ino. Let's go then. With that, they both went to the nearest motel. Upon arrival, they were greeted by the receptionist. Receptionist. Good evening, how can I help you? Sakura. Yes, a room for one night. Receptionist. Okay, hands them the keys here, room 201. Sakuino. Thank you. With that, they both headed towards the room, shivering slightly from the cold. Upon arriving, they noticed there was only one bed, making them blush. Ino. I think I'll take a bath first. Sakura. Why yes. With that, Ino goes into the bathroom to avoid getting sick. 15 minutes later, the blonde comes out wearing only a towel on her head and completely naked, giving Sakura a full view of Ino's B-cup breasts, causing her to blush as intensely as Hinata, and a bulge to form in the pink-haired girl's crotch. Afterward, Sakura goes into the bathroom to shower and take care of a problem. 20 minutes later, she comes out naked with a towel on her head, finding Ino on all fours masturbating. Upon seeing her, Ino blushes but gets wet when she sees Sakura's member getting hard. Ino. It's 20 inches. Lemon skipped. After ejaculating inside the blonde, he withdrew his hennis so that Ino lay face down while she lay beside him on her back. They looked at each other, leaned in, and shared a kiss before embracing and falling asleep. Chapter 13. It's a beautiful day, the birds are singing, and the flowers are blooming. On mornings like these, people get their things done. But we'll focus on a motel room. There, 2 heads of hair could be seen, one pink and the other blonde. They were Sakura and Ino. Suddenly, the blonde woke up, sitting up and rubbing her eyes. When she finished and saw her companion, all the memories flooded back, making her blush. Ino. Shit, what have I done? But I liked it. Shit. Sakura. Still asleep Ino-chan. Ino blushes, but then smiles as she leans in and kisses him on the mouth. Ino. I love you. Why did I say that? NaruNaru residence. In the room, there were 2 bundles on the bed, surrounded by strewn clothes. Then, a blonde woman stood up, noticing the other bundle. Naruko. Naru, wake up. Upon hearing the angelic voice of his beloved, Naruto wakes up. Naruto. Good morning, Naru-chan. Naruko. Good morning, Naru-kun. With that, they both give each other a quick kiss. Naruto. We have to get up. Naruko. Yes. With that, they both get up to get ready and start the day. Once ready, they go downstairs to make breakfast. Just then, a pick-a-peck appears with a letter. Upon seeing it, Naruto takes the letter. Naruto. Thank you, little one. But that said, the pick-a-peck flies away. Seeing that the pick-a-peck is gone, Naruto opens the letter to read its contents, surprised by what it says. Naruto. Naru-chan, come here. Naruko. I'm coming. With that, Naruko leaves what she had in the dining room and approaches Naruto. Naruko. What's wrong, Naruto? Naruto. Showing her the letter, read this. Naruko takes the letter to read it and is surprised and happy. Naruko. This is amazing, we'll be promoted to Chunin. Naruto. Yes. They look at each other and are about to kiss. Naruto. Te-amo Naruko Uzumaki. Naruko. Why yo iti, Naruto Uzumaki. They kissed again, this time filled with love. When they parted, they were connected only by a thin strand of saliva. Naruko. Let's eat. Naruto. Yes. But that said, they both go to the dining room for breakfast. Hori Hokage. Hiruzen and shadow clones of him were seen doing the paperwork. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Hiruzen. Passin. With that, NaruNaru enters the room. Naruto. We're here, Hiruzen. That's great. As I mentioned, both of you will be promoted to Chunin for your outstanding participation, dedication, and incredible will of fire. He takes out 2 Chunin vests and hands them to the Uzumakas. I, the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, hereby appoint Naruko Uzumaki and Naruto Uzumaki as elite Chunin. NaruNaru. They take the vests. Yes, Hokage-sama. They both put on their vests. But then Team 7 enters. Kakashi. Hokage-sama, we've come for. He didn't finish speaking because he saw the boy's surprised expressions. And not only him, his 3 students were too, making both Sasuke and Shion start to feel jealous. Hiruzen. Yes. Kakashi. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, we're here on some missions. Hiruzen. Okay. With that, Hiruzen seeks a mission by leaving the team to admire the brothers' lovers' boyfriends. Kakashi. Hokage-sama. Hiruzen. Still searching, yes. Kakashi. Just out of curiosity, not to reproach you, when and why did you give the rank to the boys? Hiruzen. The when was today. And the why, because both of them have the mindset and the skills to hold the rank. Sasuke. But I have it too. But he fell silent after a blow to the head, neither too strong nor too weak. When he saw who his attacker was, he realized it was Naruto. Naruto. Behave yourself. You're standing in front of the Hokage and you raise your voice. If you do that again, they might take away your headband and you'll be relegated to civilian life. Naruko. And if you don't believe us, do it again and see the consequences. Kakashi. Sasuke, you're my student, but they're right. Sasuke. MPH. Hiruzen. Well, I have some D-rank missions here. Shion. But. NaruNaru. Take it or leave it and you won't do anything for the day. Those simple words silenced them and they reluctantly agreed to leave, abandoning Hiruzen and NaruNaru. Hiruzen. Alright, guys, your first mission will be an assassination. Handing over the information, here's the information, good luck. NaruNaru. Yes, Hokage-sama. With that, they both leave, leaving Hiruzen with a small smile. Hiruzen. They will undoubtedly become great ninjas. Kushina, Minato, wherever you are, I hope you are proud of your children. And I hope he arrives soon. Well, let's continue. With that, create clones and continue with the paperwork. Chapter 14. NaruNaru was walking through the village, receiving looks of astonishment, others of happiness, but few of hatred. To give you an idea, once, already as ninjas, they were seen on top of yin and yang, and they even saved a child from being killed by a poorly placed sign, to everyone's amazement. That's when they realized they weren't a Kyuubi. Furthermore, their attackers felt sorry for them and apologized. But a few didn't take it well. Naruto. Shall we go to Ichiraku? Naruko. Okay. With that, they both headed towards Ichiraku Ramen while holding hands. Naruko. Now that I think about it. Naruto pays attention. Naruko. Sakura was blushing. Besides, she wasn't thinking straight. And she wasn't bothering the emo. Naruto. Now that you mention it, you're right. What do you think happened? Wild yin and yang appear on his shoulders. Yin. I know. Yang. Me too. Naruto. 1. Ever since they saw us by accident and we saved the kid, they trust us more. And 2. Just say it. Yin. 1. It was an accident, but it's better this way. We wouldn't spend so much time at the seal. Naruto. I can't argue with that logic. Yang. Yeah. And 2. They wouldn't believe it. Naruko. Tell us, before we get to Ichiraku. Both foxes look at each other and nod. Yin. We felt like their scent was mixed with someone else's. Yang. Like you guys when you're having hex. Upon hearing the vocabulary, they froze, and not only them, but those around them blushed. The people, through the civil council, also knew about their relationship, but because Hiruzen knew it was allowed, they accepted it. Besides, they weren't fools enough to confuse the seal and the kunai anymore. Well, not all of them. Naruko. Stuttering, you don't say that in public. Yang. Brat, everyone already knows about your relationship. Naruto. We know, but there are children around. The foxes turned around, and sure enough, there were children. The mothers were blushing and covering their children's ears. Both foxes laughed a little sheepishly. With that, the two young men resumed their walk. Naruko. Changing the subject. Who was it with? Naruto. Naruko. Naruko. Naruto. Sorry, I wanted to. But you're curious too. Naruto. Tush. Yin. Actually, it wasn't a boy. They both tilted their heads in confusion. Yan. It was a girl. The Yamanaka. They both opened their eyes wide in shock. Naruto. No. Yin. Yes. Naruko. No. Yan. Yes. Naruto. I wasn't expecting that. Naruko. Me neither. Yan. We're here. With that, the foxes returned to the seal while the young people enter Ichiraku. NaruNaru. Old man. With that, Tucci, owner of Ichiraku Ramen, leaves. Tucci. Hey guys. Sees the vests, did you get promoted? Naruko. Yeah, it was Chunin. Tucci. Congrats. Naruto. Thanks, man. But we're coming fast, we have a mission, but before we go we wanted some ramen. Tucci. Okay. AM. From the kitchen, yes. Tucci. 2 miso ramen. AM. Right away. With that, the aforementioned woman begins to make the ramen. 30 minutes later. Naruko and Naruto could be seen paying the bill. NaruNaru. Thanks for the food, old man. Tucci and AM. Come back soon. With that, the Uzumaki duo left the post to go home and get ready for their first Chunin rank mission. Upon arriving home, they began preparing for the mission. Naruto. What if we take the Zygarde with us? Naruko. Okay. With that, they both go for each other's Zygarde. Naruto. Ready, honey. Naruko laughed a little. Naruko. Yes, love. With that, they both went to the park to get on a hippogriff, Naruto, and a griffin, Naruko. Hippogriff. Tap. With that, they both take flight, passing first through the entrance to announce their departure and resume their flight. With Team 7. They were doing their missions, but if we focus on a certain pink-haired girl, she had a blush on her cheeks and was lost in her own world. Sakura. Why did I do that? I liked it and all, but why can't I get Ino out of my head? Oh Kami, help me. Kakashi. Sakura. Ah, what's wrong? Kakashi. That's what I wanted to ask you, what's wrong? What's the matter? You're very quiet. Sakura. It's nothing. Kakashi. Okay. With that, everyone resumes their activities. Sakura. I'm going to talk to Ino about this. With Team 10. Everyone could be seen returning from a mission, but one blonde was lost in thought. Ino. Shit, what am I going to do? If I tell my parents they'll kill me. But I can't get that forehead out of my head. I'll talk to her about this. With that, he focuses on returning to the village. With the NaruNaru. They had already completed their mission. They were covered in blood. Beside them were 2 dogs with a little blood on them. These were the Zygarde they had brought, which they used and were in their 10% power form. Behind him were the winged animals with a little blood. Naruko. It wasn't that hard. We just used shadow clones. Naruto. Yeah. But it's a good thing we brought the Zygarde with us. Naruko. You're right. Shall we head back? Naruto. Okay. Looks at something. Wait, isn't that one of Padafumaru's bases? Naruko turns to look towards the place. Naruko. Yes. Sees the Zygarde. Please come in at 50% off. The dogs nod to switch to their 50% form. Naruto. Sees the hippogriff and the griffin hide and stay alert. The winged animals nod as they begin to fly and hide. Naruto. Let's go. With that, the Uzumaki duo and the Zygarde head towards the base. Konoha. Team 7 and 10 were seen heading to the Hokage Tower, but Sakuino was seen standing apart from the group. Ino. So, did you like last night? Sakura. Yes. Ino. What should we do? I mean, should we cross the line? Sakura. I know, but I want to do it again. Ino. Do you think I don't? Sakura blushed at that. Sakura. We need to give ourselves time. Ino. Nodding okay. With that, they continued walking. But the NaruNaru. The destroyed base could be seen with both Uzumakas on each shoulder of a humanoid creature. Naruko. I didn't think we'd have to use 100%. Naruto. I know, but there were a lot of ninjas and things got complicated. Naruko. Yeah. Sai okay, let's go. But that said, NaruNaru called the hippogriff and the griffin while the humanoid returned to the Zygarde that had come with the duo. Now separated, the Zygarde perched on each of their shoulders as the youngsters climbed onto the winged creatures to take flight and return to the village. Konoha Hokage Tower. Team 7 was seen discussing a mission, while Team 10 watched them alongside Sakura. Asuma. I thought they were more mature. Sakura. Well, no. And I regret being interested in Emasuke. Ino laughed a little, but then she became serious. Ino. I regret it too. Asuma saw both Kunoichis, who had undoubtedly matured, without knowing that they were each other's reason for being. Sasuke. I'm fed up. Either you give us a higher ranking mission, or… He didn't finish speaking because a noise was heard, like the sound of an eagle. Sakura. What is that sound, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen. They've arrived. But that said, two animals landed outside the window. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was a hippogriff and a griffin, and perched atop each were Naruto and Naruko with his Zygarde. The duo dismounted and entered through the window. Naruto. Excuse the interruption, but it would be, so to speak, a waste of time going back and forth. Hiruzen. Nodding very well. Report. Naruko. Well, Hokage-sama, it wasn't too difficult since, with the help of the Zygarde at 10%, plus the hippogriff and the griffin and shadow clones, it was easy. But we ran into an Orochimaru base. Upon hearing the name, everyone tensed up. Hiruzen. It was reckless. Naruto. We know, but we stumbled upon valuable information, so I ask that the three of us be alone. Hiruzen. Leave. Shion. But. Hiruzen. Now. With that, both teams retreat, Sasuke and Shion doing so reluctantly. Once the three of them are together, Hiruzen creates a sound barrier. Hiruzen. Well. Naruko. We've learned that Orochimaru is planning to invade Konoha during the Chunin exams. He also wants to take control of Sasuke. Hiruzen. Why? Naruto. The Sharingan. Hiruzen nodded to deactivate the barrier. Hiruzen. Thank you, I'll let them know so they can come get their pay. NaruNaru. Hi. With that, the duo retreats through the window to fly away on the hippogriff and the griffin. Chapter 15. Weeks had passed and the Jounin sensei along with NaruNaru were in Hiruzen's office. Naruko. Why did Hokage-sama call us? Even though they had heard them before, it still impressed them. Outside of duty or when they were alone they called him Jiji or old man, but during duty they addressed him formally. Asuma. I'm still surprised by your behavior. Me too, my youthful friend. Naruto. Do you know we can hear you? Kurenai. My apologies. Naruto. It's okay. Kakashi. Well, Hokage-sama, why did you call us here? Hiruzen. Well, as you know, the Chunin exams are coming up and Genin from the other villages will be joining us. Naruto. I read about that. Hiruzen. Well, I wanted to know who will be nominating their teams. Asuma. I, Asuma Sarutobi, nominate Team 10. Kurenai. I, Kurenai Yuhi, nominate Team 8. I, Mike Guy, nominate Team 9. Kakashi. I, Kakashi Haddock, nominate Team 7. Iruka. You can't do that. You're barely Genin. Hiruzen. Calm down, Iruka. Iruka. But Hokage-sama. Hiruzen. Don't worry, besides, I'm sure Naruko and Naruto will leave some creatures lurking in the shadows to watch over them. NaruNaru. You can count on it, Hokage-sama. Hiruzen nodded. Kakashi. Out of curiosity, why did you call the Uzumakas? Hiruzen. Well, they asked to be here. Naruto. Well, we came because we want to be censors for the third phase of the Chunin exams. That surprised everyone. Hiruzen. Are you sure about that decision? Naruko. Yes, Hokage-sama. Hiruzen. Nodding very well. You may leave. With that, everyone leaves, some to report and others to enlist. But the NaruNaru. They were both walking calmly while holding hands. Naruto. Are you excited, Naru-chan? Naruko. Yes, Naru-kun. Naruto. Me too. I wish mom and dad were here. Naruko stepped in front of them, causing them both to stop. Naruko. I know, I'd like to too, but you know we can't play with life and death. Naruto. I know. They just kissed before holding hands again and going home, unaware that a trio of children were watching them. Time skip jutsu. The Chunin exams had arrived and everyone was excited. But we'll focus on our couple. They were both at Ichiraku Ramen eating when Iruka arrived. Iruka. Hey guys. NaruNaru. Hey, Iruka-sensei. Iruka. Are you ready? Naruko. We were born ready. We take care of the creatures for a reason. Iruka. I see. And speaking of creatures, do you know which ones will be around in the second phase? Naruto. Yes. Pulls out a scroll with the names and images. They'll be the flying type Pokémon. These will be the Murkrow. Fletchling. Rufflet. Archon. Idove. Starly. Talo. Buthut. Dodo. Farfetch'd. Spearow. Pidgey. Rock Idea. And the Piketpeck. Iruka. Wow, they're bird-like Pokémon. Naruto. Yeah, I thought of everything. Naruko. I also thought of some bird-like ones. Naruto. Tell me about them. Naruko. Well, pulls out a scroll like Naruto's, but smaller. I was planning to use the auguries. The Phoenix. And the Jaburknels. Naruto. Good choices, we just have to take the lists to Jiji. Naruko. Okay. With that, they continued eating until they finished and headed towards the Hokage Tower. Hori Hokage. Hiruzen was signing papers next to clones when there was a knock at the door. Hiruzen. Pace. With that, the Uzumaki duo enters the office. Naruko. Hi Jiji. Hiruzen. Hello everyone, what brings you here? Naruto. We came because we know which creatures to leave behind. Hiruzen. Let's see, please show us. With that, they both show him the lists, leaving him surprised. Hiruzen. I'm surprised, but thank you for letting us use the creatures. Naruko. No problem, Grandpa. Hiruzen. Anything else? Naruto. Nothing for now, thank you. Hiruzen. It's alright, and thank you also for helping us look after the genin. NaruNaru. No problem, Grandpa he. Naruto. Well, we'll be going. But that said, they both leave, allowing Hiruzen to continue with the paperwork. But the NaruNaru. They were walking when three wild children appeared. Boy 1. Train us. NaruNaru. Tilting his head Boy 1. Train us. Naruto. Who are you? Boy 1. I'm Konohamaru. Boy 2. I'm Yuden. Girl. And I'm Majay. The 3. And we're Team Konohamaru. Naruto. Oh. You're Jiji's grandson. Konohamaru. That's right. Naruko. Naru, who's he? Naruto. He's Konohamaru Sarutobi, Jiji's grandson. Naruko was surprised, but then she remembered something. Naruko. Sorry, but we can't train you. We'll be acting as proctors in the third phase of the Chunin exams. But maybe after they're over. The children looked at each other and then nodded. The 3. Okay. Naruto. Okay. Now shoo, we have things to do, but we promise we'll train you. With that, the children left happily while NaruNaru went back to his home. Chapter 16. NaruNaru was at home. His day to be the censors hadn't arrived yet, they would have to wait 5 days, so they said they would be at home. NaruNaru residence. The children were playing and everything at the residence, but there was no one taking care of them. Naruko and Naruto were seen having hex in the cowgirl position, with Naruko making an ahiga face. Lemon skipped. They both turned to look at each other. Naruto. I love you. Naruko. And I love you too. They both fell asleep to wait the 5 days. 5 days later. 5 teams from Konoha, 1 from Suna and 1 from Odo were visible. Hiruzen stood in front of the genin. Behind him were the Anbu and the NaruNaru. Then Hiruzen spoke. Hiruzen. Congratulations on passing the second phase, but since I see there are many participants, we'll have semi-finals. Shion. What? Kiba. He can't do that. Hiruzen. There are many participants, so we'll have semi-finals. They all nodded. Naruko. Hokage-sama, may I be the censor for the semi-finals? Hiruzen. Nodding of course. Naruto. Good luck. Naruko. Thank you. With that, the woman walks to end up in front of the genin. Naruko. Alright, my name is Naruko Uzumaki and I'll be the preliminary monitor. If anyone wants to withdraw, raise your hand. The hand is raised. Naruko. Name. Kabuto. Kabuto Yakushi. Naruko. Nodding okay. Ugh, it smells like a snake. I'll talk to Naruto-kun and Grandpa about this. Notices Kabuto is gone. Okay, the names will appear randomly on the screen, so pay attention. With that, the screen displays the first names. Naruko. Yoroi Akado against Sasuke Uchiha. The rest to the steps. With that, everyone withdraws, leaving those named in the arena. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. Imagine Hade as Naruko. 136, 436. Naruko. Ganador, Sasuke Uchiha. With that, Kakashi takes the raven-haired boy away. Naruko. I'll help that disgusting mark out. Looks at the board. Next match, Shino Aburam vs Aqua Pumi. Both are getting off. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. 037, 446. Naruko. Winner, Shino Aburam. Looks at the screen. Next match, Sakura Haruno vs Ino Yamanaka. Both are going down. Naruko. Lists. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. The fight was quite interesting as both women went all out but neither wanted to hurt the other. In the end, it was a draw but it showed they had both matured. Naruko. Smiling, they've matured so much. It's a tie. Looks at the screen. Next match, Miss Yumi Tsurugu vs Kankuro no Sabaku. Both are getting off. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. 026, 153. Naruko. Winner, Kankuro no Sabaku. Looks at the screen. Next match, Shikamaru Nara vs Kintsuchi. Both are getting off. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. 054, 255. Naruko. Winner, Shikamaru Nara. How clever, he. Looks at the screen. Next match, Tamari no Sabaku vs Tenten. Both are going down. Naruko. Lists. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. 010, 205. Naruko. Winner, Tamari no Sabaku. Sees Tenten being taken away. Then she looks at the screen, a little surprised. Damn. Next match, Niji Hyuga vs Hinata Hyuga. Naruto pays close attention to the encounter. They both get out. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. The fight was hard-fought but in the end Niji won, knocking Hinata out. Both Uzumakis were relieved. It seemed they had resolved their issues. Naruko. Winner, Niji Hyuga. Looks at the screen. Next match, Shun Hyuga vs Kiba Inuzuka. Both are getting off. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. Shion. Give up, you can't beat. He didn't finish speaking because Kiba launched himself with a fang on fang, ending the match quickly. Naruko. With a bead of sweat on the back of her neck. Winner, Kiba Inuzuka. Looks at the screen. Next match, Choji Akimichi vs Dosu Kanuda. Both are getting off. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. I couldn't find one in Spanish. The 015, 058. Naruko. Winner, Dosu Kanuda. Sees the screen. Final match, Rock Lee vs Gaara no Sabaku. Lee. Yosh, it's time to show the flames of youth. I. That's right, my dear pupil. Lee. Guy sensei. I. Lee. Lee. Guy sensei. I. Lee. Lee. Guy sensei. I. Lee. With that, they embraced as a wave crashed against the shore behind them. Naruko had a bead of sweat on her brow. Naruko. Yeah. With that, Lee and Guy separate. Gaara and Lee go down to the arena. Naruko. Ready. They both nod. Naruko. Fine. Fight. 046, 837. Before he broke his arm and leg, Naruto had broken the sand connection. Naruto. You already won. Gaara. Naruko. Serious winner, Gaara no Sabaku. Gaara just shrugs. Naruko. Contestants, come down. With that, the 9 descend, followed by Anko, who stands next to Naruko. Anko. Alright worms, come in and take a piece of paper. Everyone obeys the order. Naruko. Alright, state your numbers. Shino. 7. Kankuro. 8. Shikamaru. 5. Tamari. 6. Niji. 2. Kiba. 1. Dosu. 9. Gaara. 4. Naruko. Therefore, Sasuke is 3. The matches will be as follows. Kiba vs Niji Sasuke vs Gaara Shikamaru vs Tamari Shino vs Kankuro. The winner of this last match will fight Dosu. Hiruzen. You will have 1 month to train. You may leave. But that, everyone leaves. Meanwhile, Naruto approaches Naruko. Naruto. Are you okay? Naruko. Yes, but I was nervous. Naruto. Relax. With that, they both leave. Chapter 17. Naruto and Naruko were walking home when they bumped into a white-haired boy whom they recognized instantly. NaruNaru. Jiraiya-sensei. Hiro-senin. Jiraiya. Stop calling me that, brat. Naruto. Shut up, I'm still mad about seeing my Naruko naked. Jiraiya. It was an accident. Naruko. Blushing at hearing Naruto say my Naruko, calm down, Naru-kun, it was an accident. Besides, I only have eyes for you. Naruto blushed at that but smiled to give his beloved a kiss while Jiraiya was riding like crazy. Jiraiya. Well, putting that aside, I've come to congratulate you on your promotion to Elite Chunin. NaruNaru. Thank you, Jiraiya-sensei. Hiro-senin. Jiraiya. With a tick upon hearing Hiro-senin. Well, what are you going to do? Naruto. Let's go inside. Jiraiya nodded as the trio entered the NaruNaru residence with Froki perched on Jiraiya's shoulder. Jiraiya. Looking at the Froki, can I have it? Naruko. Let him decide, not us. Jiraiya. Looking at the Froki, what do you say, buddy? The Froki simply smiled and nodded, implying that he would stay with the white-haired boy. Just then, they entered and headed to the living room. As they sat down, the three of them looked at each other. Jiraiya. So, what are you going to do? Naruto. Well, I'll prepare for the third phase, but I'm 100% sure I'll get nervous. Naruko. Relax, Naru-kun, everything will be fine. Naruto. Thanks, Naru-chan. Naruko. You're welcome, Naru-kun. Changing the subject to something more serious. Become serious. I know when Orochimaru will attack the village. The two present become serious. Jiraiya. When? Naruko. During the third phase. They'll make Gaara lose control. Naruto. Jinchuriki. Naruko. Exactly. Then Yin and Yang appear. In chapter 1 wrote Yin and Yang, that was my mistake. When Jiraiya saw the foxes, he was frightened, but if they came out it was because they trusted them. Ying. I thought you were going to attack. Jiraiya. I was going to, but if they're outside, it's because they trust you. Yang. Clever. Anyway, we know which of our brothers is inside that brat. Jiraiya. Which one? Ying. The super evolved raccoon, Shukaku. Naruko. The one with the tail. Ying. Yes. Naruto. We have to warn Jiji. Jiraiya. I'll do it. They might attack or capture one of his creatures. Naruto. Nodding yes. Thanks, Godfather. Jiraiya smiled at what the retard said. Jiraiya. Well, I'll be going now. Naruto. Okay, but before I go, pulls out a chakra license. This license is our approval that you can have Froki. Jiraiya. Takes the license. Thanks, kid. Naruto. You're welcome. Naruko. I'll walk you out. Jiraiya. Thanks. With that, they both leave, leaving Naruto sitting. After 5 minutes, the blonde returns. Naruko. I'm back. Naruto. And what did he say? Naruko. Nothing, he just told me to be careful. Naruto simply smiled as he approached his beloved and gave her a loving kiss that intensified into a lustful one. Naruko. Naru-kun. Naruto. Naru-chan. With that, they both started kissing again while taking off their clothes and leaving them lying around. Naruko. Naruto-kun. Lemon skipped. After he finished ejaculating, he pulled out his member and fell down next to his beloved on the bed, where they both fell asleep. Chapter 18. After a few hours, both lovers wake up looking at each other. Naruto. Hi love. Naruko. Hi my love. Naruto just smiled, blushing slightly. Naruto. I think we should go see Jiji. Naruko. I think so too. With that, they both got up to go to the living room, since that's where they had left her. Once ready, they went to Hiruzen's office accompanied by an Arbok. And a Bagan. Everyone who saw them was curious about the creatures. Although some were a little afraid of the Arbok, as it reminded them of snakes. They continued on until they reached their Jiji grandfather's office. Upon arriving, they knocked on the door. Hiruzen. Pace. With that, they both entered the office along with the Pokémon. Hiruzen. What can I get you, kids? Naruto. Serious, did Hiro-senin already tell you? Upon hearing the name, Hiruzen also becomes serious. Hiruzen. He already told me. Naruto. So what are we going to do? Hiruzen. I'll talk to Shikaku. You two take care of Gaara. You're the best ones for it. Naruko. Okay. Naruto. See you later. Or do you want to come eat? They both see it. Naruto. I know this is the worst time, but you have to understand, even in difficult times, we must keep a calm mind. So, let's eat. That way we can calm down and think things through. They were both surprised, and upon closer listening, he was right. If they kept thinking of 1,001 ways to avoid things, they could go wrong. But if they stayed calm, their minds worked better. Hiruzen. Okay. Naruto. Alright, let's go to Akimichi barbecue. Naruko. I thought you'd say Ichiraku ramen. Naruto. I like ramen, but we have to eat a balanced diet. Naruko nodded. With that, Hiruzen left some clones and retired with the Uzumakis to the barbecue. Barbacoa Akimichi. Everyone was eating peacefully until Hiruzen, Naruko, and Naruto arrived. They were surprised to see them, but then remembered how close they were. The trio went to sit at a table until the waitress arrived. Waitress. Good afternoon, Hokage-sama, Naruko-san, and Naruto-san. What can I get you? Naruto. Well, I read a while ago that you had a special. Waitress. That's right. Naruto. Could you bring it to us, but for 3 people? Waitress. Of course. But that said, the waitress leaves. Naruko. And what's that special Naru-kun made of? Naruto. Well, it's a combination of beef, lamb, and pork. Hiruzen. That sounds delicious. Naruko. Yeah, it sounds delicious. I'm already craving it. Naruto. That's why I ordered it. They continued talking about trivial things, sometimes about more serious matters, but remained relaxed until the food arrived, which the trio ate with gusto. They continued like this until the food was gone, which Naruto paid for. After paying, the trio left, Hiruzen going to his officer home, and the duo going home. Time skipped jutsu one day before the finals. Time passed, and they had already discussed the topic, which concerned Orochimaru's invasion of the village during the 3rd phase of the Chunin exams. It was 8 p.m. and night was falling. But we'll move on to another location. NaruNaru residence. They were both lying in bed, somewhat uneasy, preoccupied with the invasion and Naruto's nervousness. Then Naruko positioned herself behind him. Naruko. Calm down, Naru-kun. Naruto. I know, Naru-chan, but I'm nervous and scared that something might happen to you. Naruko. Calm down. But that said, she kisses him, causing him to turn away. After 2 minutes, they separate, a thin strand of saliva connecting them. But Naruto, seeing his beloved, is surprised and blushes. Her hair is loose and she wears transparent black lingerie, revealing that she has nothing on underneath. Upon seeing her, Naruto's member became hard with excitement. Seeing this, Naruko gave a slightly perverted smile. Naruko. Do you like what you see na.ru.to.kun? Naruto only became more aroused, making the blonde smile even more. Without further ado, she bent down to pull down his underwear a little, revealing her beloved's erect penis. With it right in front of her eyes, she began to masturbate him, eliciting groans from Naruto. Lemon skipped. With that, both of them fell exhausted onto the bed in the spooning position, without realizing that inside the blonde, a new life was forming. Chapter 19. It was already daytime, and the final matches were beginning. But back at the NaruNaru residence, the 2 lovers were waking up, blushing at the position they were in. With that, they both went to take a bath, finishing in 10 minutes, quickly changed, and skipped to the stadium. Naruko. Naru-kun, do you think the fix to Gaara's seal worked? Naruto. Of course, I checked it, and I can assure you it's fine. Naruko. That's good. Then they arrive at the stadium. Naruto. Me. Sorry for the delay, but we had, a rather eventful night. At the comment, the women next to Naruko blushed, and the men did too, but with a trickle of blood coming out of their noses. Naruko. That's not something you say in public. Naruto. Sorry, Hiruzen. Putting that aside. You know, we have to be prepared for the invasion. Naruko. Yes, pulling out a scroll with names and photos we left some chimeras. And some Zawu. Naruto. And I have a swooping evil in my pocket. Show the creature and a picture of the creature. Naruko paled at what she heard and saw the photo. Kuranai. What's wrong, Naruko-san? Naruto. She's afraid of the swooping evil. Everyone was surprised by this information. They didn't believe that the most feared girl would be afraid of a fantastic animal. Asuma. Is that true? Naruto. Yes. That's why I take care of them. Everyone nodded. Just then, all the guests arrived. Hiruzen. Remember the plan. They all nodded in agreement and, without further ado, went back to their places. A while later. Everyone was ready, the participants were lined up, only Dosu and Sasuke were missing. Then Naruto stepped forward. Naruto. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I will be the censor of the 3rd phase. Upon hearing her name, some were surprised and wondered, did she have any connection to Naruko Uzumaki? Naruto. Showing a sheet of paper. On this sheet are the names of the participants and who they will fight against. Before we begin, I'm here to let you know that participant Dosu Kanuta died not too long ago, so he won't be participating. Everyone was surprised by what was said, but Gaara felt sorry since he was the one who killed him. Naruto. Without further ado, the first match. Checks the Shikiba in Yuzuka vs Niji Hyuga. Everyone else, go to the stands. With that, everyone leaves, leaving only those named. Naruto. Ready. They both nod. Naruto. Alright. Fight. With that, they both engaged in a fierce fight, employing both defense and attack. Neither gave an inch. They were completely focused on the battle. In the end, Niji emerged victorious, landing a gentle punch to Kiba's stomach. Naruto. Winner, Niji Hyuga. Sees the sheet. Next match, Sasuke Uchiha vs Gaara of the Sand. With that, the Redeed descends in a sand shunshin, but the raven-haired man doesn't arrive. Page box. Hiruzen. I'm going to disqualify him. Rasa. Give him more time, I'm sure the civilians are eagerly awaiting this match. Hiruzen. I'm sorry, but no. Anbu, and Anbu appears tell him that Sasuke Uchiha is disqualified. The Anbu nodded and left, leaving Rasa annoyed. On the sand. The Anbu appears beside Naruto to whisper something to him before leaving. Naruto. Due to delay, Sasuke Uchiha is disqualified. Therefore, the winner is Gaara no Sabaku. The civilians were protesting. Sakura. A ninja must be punctual. A second late is a second in which an ally dies. Those words surprised everyone, but he was right, every ninja must be vigilant. NaruNaru. I'm mature, just like Ino. No one protested. Naruto. Next match, Shikamaru Nara vs Temari no Sabaku. With that, they both descend, with Shikamaru being pulled down by Ino. Once they are on the sand. Change Naruto from the stands to Ino. Remember that they are both on the same team. 0:45, 11:59. Everyone was in shock and somewhat bored. They all had only one thought on their minds. Everyone. How lazy. Naruto. Well, since participant Shikamaru Nara forfeited, the winner is Temari no Sabaku. With that, they both leave. Naruto. The next match, Shino Aburam vs Kankuro no Sabaku. With that, they both go down to the sand. Naruto. Ready. They both nod. Naruto. Alright. Fight. The fight began with Kankuro using his puppet while Shino used his insects. Although it wasn't difficult for Shino, since he was pure chakra and his insects feed on it, it wasn't hard for him. Naruto. The winner, Shino Aburam. Page box. Rasa. You damn brats, you're not following the plan. Hiruzen. Is something wrong, Rasa Dono? Rasa. No, nothing, Hiruzen Dono. Hiruzen. Alright. On the sand. Naruto. Next match, Niji Hyuga vs Temari no Sabaku. They both go down to the sand. Naruto. Ready. They both nod. Naruto. Alright. Fight. But before they begin, a whirlwind of leaves appears, revealing Kakashi and Sasuke. Kakashi. Sorry for the delay. Can he still participate? Naruto. I'm sorry, but Sasuke was disqualified for not arriving on time. That surprised them both. Sasuke. You can't disqualify me, I'm an elite Uchiha, you can't do that. Kakashi. Sasuke, calm down. Sasuke. No, I trained for this. Naruto. You'd better shut up and go to the stands. Sasuke reluctantly left with Kakashi. Naruto. Well, without further ado, let's begin. With that, the fight began. Niji had a tough time. His opponent was a ranged attacker and also possessed cunning. Temari had it easy, but she didn't let her guard down. In the end, Niji won by using his wit. Naruto. The winner, Niji Hyuga. The man leaves with a blonde woman. Naruto. The next match, Gaara no Sabaku vs Shino Aburam. They both go down to the sand. Naruto. Ready. They both nod. Naruto. Alright. Fight. With that, Shino released his insects to begin devouring Gaara's chakra, but Gaara killed them with his sand. Seeing this, Aburam released 25% of his remaining insects, but they met the same fate. Shino cursed under his breath. He didn't want his other insects to suffer the same fate. Shino. I surrender. If I keep attacking, I'll run out of ammo, and I'm not good at ninjutsu or taijutsu. Naruto. Nodding alright. The winner by surrender is Gaara no Sabaku. They both leave. Naruto. We'll give a 30-minute break. With that, everyone left to buy food or drinks. Meanwhile, Naruto went to find his beloved. When he found her, he saw her with some bento boxes. Upon arriving, he kissed her. Naruto. Hi love. Naruko. Hi love. I have the food ready. Naruto. Okay. With that, they both began to eat, also remaining vigilant for the next invasion. And that made them nervous. Chapter 20. 30 minutes had already passed, and everyone was in the arena to witness the final fight. Naruto. This is the final match of the third phase of the Chunin exams. Now, Gaara no Sabaku and Niji Hyuga enter the arena. They both go down to the sand. Best box. Ino. This will be interesting. Sakura. I hope so, Ino-chan. Ino blushed when she heard that, but inside she was happy. Naruko watched their relationship from afar with a small smile, but then she felt something in her stomach, like a twinge. Naruko. Discreetly touching her stomach, that's strange. On the sand. Naruto. Are you ready? They both nod. Naruto. Alright, let's begin. Before launching, some feathers begin to fall, being scattered by the Jounin and Chunin. Naruto. It's time. Niji. What's going on? Gaara. An invasion. If it weren't for Naruto and Naruko, we wouldn't have realized we were tricked. Niji. So. Naruto. Niji, go help the civilians, the rest are already on their way. Just then, some Odo ninjas appear and surround them. Upon seeing them, Naruto uses swooping evil to make them eat the ninjas. 116, 120. When they saw the creature they were surprised, but when they saw it eating the heads, that terrified them a little. Naruto. Hiss. Upon hearing it, the swooping evil lunges towards him to curl up into a cocoon and fall into the hand of its launcher. With Jiraiya. He was attacking some ninjas alongside his Froki, which was launching bubbles to slow down the enemies, while Jiraiya finished them off. Suddenly, a chimera appeared alongside a blast-ended Scroot and began a massacre. Page box. Hiruzen was seen fighting Orochimaru. Orochimaru. Kukuku, it seems you've discovered the invasion plan for Konoha. Hiruzen. It wasn't me, it was my granddaughter. Then NaruNaru arrives. Naruko. Hello, Padafamaru. Orochimaru. Kukuku, well look who we have here, none other than Naruko-chan herself. Naruto. I can only call my Naruko-chan Naruko-chan. Naruko. Shut up, Padafamaru. Orochimaru. Kukuku, I think this would be unfair. Makes hand seals Ito Tensei. With that, 4 tombs were lifted, their lids falling to reveal 4 people. Those 4 people were Tobirama Senju, Hashirama Senju, Kushina Uzumaki, and Minato Namikaze. Minakushi. How are we alive? Tobirama. Someone used the Ito Tensei. Hashirama. Hitting him, I told you it was a bad idea to invent that jutsu. NaruNaru. With tears, Dad. Mom. Kushina. With tears, my children. Hiruzen. Tobirama Sensei, Hashirama Sensei. Tobirama. Hiruzen. Hashirama. Hello Hiruzen, wow, age has hit you hard. But suddenly, a murderous instinct took hold, and it was Naruto's. Naruto. With his ruby red eye looking at Orochimaru, you bastard, you dared to usurp our parents. Naruko. Same as Naruto but in both eyes and the previous cage. Naruto. That's it. Naruko. No. NaruNaru. We'll forgive you. With that, the place turns black, frightening everyone present, even those at the barrier. Orochimaru. Trembling and looking at Minakushi, you two attack. But they didn't move. Minakushi. They both looked at each other, realizing that they did not have the marks of the Ito Tensei. Kushina. We don't have the Ito Tensei markings. Minato. But how? Then the Shinigami appears. Shinigami. It was me. I saw the boys' lives and saw that they had everything. The only thing they didn't have was NaruNaru. The love of parents. Shinigami. Nodding, that's right. The family smiled while Orochimaru was frightened. Kushina and Minato were quickly with their children. Shinigami. But in return I want a soul. NaruNaru smiled as his eyes turned ruby red. Seeing them, Orochimaru was terrified, and even more so when he saw they were pointing their guns at him. Naruko. It was going to be a beautiful day. Nobody knew what they were saying, but Hiruzen did. Naruto. The birds were singing. Naruko. And the flowers were blooming. Naruto. On days like these. Naruko. People like you. NaruNaru. Should burn in hell. Upon hearing the phrase, everyone, even the Shinigami who was still there, was frightened, even the Uchiha breakfast. And with that, they both launched into a fierce battle where they proved themselves worthy of being Chunin. Naruko. Hitting the floor earthquake. And with that, some rocks rise up to hit Tobirama, who was then hit by a Geister Blaster beam. When the lightning struck, only one heart remained. But they didn't stop there. They continued attacking Hashirama. Hashirama. Mokuton. Wood Dragon. With that, a dragon attacks them head-on. Naruto. Flamethrower. And with that, I burn the dragon to ashes. Following that, Hashirama is trapped by blue bones and sealed away, revealing another heart. With that, both hearts go upwards, lost in the sky. Orochimaru. What the hell? Naruko. Those hearts were the souls of the former cages. Naruto. So, we'll give yours to the Shinigami. With that, they both engaged in a fight against the Snake Sage, managing to, if not outclass, give him a real fight as they used all their ingenuity and skills. Naruto would occasionally use swooping evil to push him back and Naruko would land a few blows. Everyone was surprised. Two 13-year-old chunin were giving a sage a run for his money that was something else entirely. Orochimaru. Damn it, these brats will kill me soon. I'll have to run. But before he can move, he is trapped in blue bones so that several Geister blasters surround him before firing. 034, 044. When the attack ended, only a floating heart could be seen. Upon seeing the heart, Naruko could only vomit while Naruto, with trembling hands, took it to the Shinigami. Naruto. Here it is. The Shinigami takes the soul. Shinigami. Thank you. I'll be going now. With that, the Shinigami retreated, causing the surrounding blackness to disappear and revealing that the invasion had been stopped and Konoha and Suna had won. Chapter 21. The next day. After preventing the invasion, a day was set aside to rest and check on the civilians for any casualties. But let's focus on another area. Council room. Everyone was there, including Minato and Kushina. Honestly, no one could believe their eyes. The fourth Hokage was alive, along with his wife. But someone didn't like it and that was Mibukki Haruno. Hiruzen. Well, as you know, yesterday we had the Odo invasion of Konoha. Enzo. We know that. Damn it, how did you not die, you damn old codger. Hiruzen. Furthermore, the invasion would have been by Odo and Suna if Naruko and Naruto hadn't intervened. Mibukki. Wait, Hokage-sama, are you saying that Suna didn't attack thanks to the Uzumaki's intervention? Hiruzen. That's right. Naruto. In addition to fixing the seal that Gaara no Sabaku had. Naruko. That helped strengthen the trust between Suna and Konoha. That surprised everyone, but someone remembered something. Enzo. Hiruzen, from what I've heard, other creatures helped stop the invasion. Naruto. The chimeras, the Zawu, and the blast ended screwed. Enzo. Then hand over those creatures so we can make them loyal to Konoha. The air grew cold, so cold that you could see the drafts. Looking to see where they were coming from, they realized they were from NaruNaru. Naruto. What did you just say, you bastard? Enzo was sweating profusely, but then he did something no one saw coming. He removed the blindfold from his eye to reveal a Sharigan. Enzo. I order you to hand over the creatures so that they are under my power. Neither of them moved, but Naruto unleashed a swooping evil attack on Danzo, causing him to bite off Danzo's head in one swift motion. Seeing this, everyone was terrified. Mibukki. Hokage-sama. Hiruzen. I warned him. And with that, the blonde fell silent. If the Redeed had the nerve to do that, she didn't want to know what the younger blonde would do. Soon. And what will we do with Minato and Kushina? Naruko. For now, they'll be hiding in the residence. Once things have calmed down, they can come out and we'll explain everything. Everyone except Mibukki nodded. Hiruzen. Any objections, Mibukki-san? Mibukki. Huh? No, none. Hiruzen. Nodding very well, you may leave, and you pointing at the Minakushi use henge to prevent the villagers from having heart attacks. The Minakushi laughed nervously, but they obeyed the order. With that, the Uzumaki Namika's family and the council members withdrew. But Mibukki. She was walking with a slight discomfort. Mibukki. Damn it. Now that they've both come back to life, it'll be harder to keep their money. Shit. She continued walking until she turned and came across something that, according to her, was forbidden. Mibukki. What the hell is going on here? Upon hearing it, they both separate, still connected by a thread of saliva. Sakura. Mom. Mibukki. What are you doing, Sakura Haruno? Sakura. Being with my girlfriend. Mibukki. That's outrageous. Sakura. Pulling away from me. No, what do you mean, outrageous? Mibukki. Yes. A woman should be with a man, not another woman. You disgust me. You're not my daughter anymore. And with that, he leaves, leaving them both in shock. Seconds later, the pink-haired girl starts crying and is comforted by his current girlfriend. Simultaneously, NaruNaru residence Uzumaki Namika's. The entire family was in the dining room, NaruNaru making the food while Minakushi was setting the table and chatting. Kushina. Mina-kun, I never thought I'd come back to life. I'm so happy. Minato. Me too, Kushi-chan. Kushina. Although I'm still amazed by the creatures that live here and the relationship between our children. Minato. Me too, but I still love them. Kushina. Me too, Mina-kun, they're my children. Minato nods. Then NaruNaru enters. Naruko. Here's the food, Dad, Mom. Naruto. I hope you like it. Both come to a sudden stop. Kushina. Kids. Naruto. Did you feel it? Naruko. Yes. Minato. What's wrong, kids? Naruko. For some reason, we felt we had to bring Sakura here. Naruto. I'll take care of it. With that, she puts the food on the table to write a letter, while Naruko puts down the one she was holding. Once she has the letter, she calls Hinata to deliver it to Sakura. But the Ino. Sakura was still sitting crying, being comforted by her girlfriend Ino. Just then, Naru arrived. Ino. The blonde takes the note, opens it, and reads it. When she finishes, she turns to her girlfriend. Ino. Let's go. Sakura. Looking at her with teary eyes. What? Ino. Let's go to Naruto and Naruko's house, you'll be better off there, believe me, love. Sakura blushed at being called love, but smiled and nodded as she stood up and, together with Ino, headed towards the Uzumaki Namika's residence. Uzumaki Namika's residence. The four of them were standing at the entrance of the residence waiting. Kushina. Who are we waiting for, my children? Just then, there's a knock at the door. When they open it, they see Ino with a teary-eyed Sakura. Both are surprised to see Kushina and Minato alive. Naruko. That explains it. What happened? Ino recovered from the shock. Ino. Well, Sakura and I are in a relationship and well, her mother found us kissing. She told her she was disgusted and that she wasn't her daughter anymore. Upon hearing that, those present were surprised, but at the same time they became angry with the pink-haired girl's mother. Kushina. And who is your mother? Ino. Mabuki Haruno, Kushina-sama. Kushina. That damn. Ino. Out of curiosity, how are your parents alive? Naruko. The Shinigami brought them back to life using Orochimaru's soul. Ino. Okay. Naruto. You should come in. With that, both women entered the residence. Once inside, a creature approached Sakura. Sakura. And this little one? Naruko. It's an Amora, rock and ice type. The little creature was nuzzling the pink-haired woman's leg with its head, making her giggle. Then it bent down to stroke her head. Sakura. Hello little one. Amora. Sakura. Ino watched that with a smile. Naruko. Don't you want to eat? We made a lot of food. Sakuino. Thank you. With that, the six of them go inside to start eating, laughing, smiling, and so on. At night. All six were at the starting line. Sakura. Thanks for the food and for helping me. Naruto. It's okay. Naruko. That's what friends are for. Sakura and Ino are surprised, then smile. Sakuino. Yes, friends. Ino. See you later. With that, the two women left the place, followed by the family entering the house, still unaware that in a few months they would have a new member. Chapter 22. 2 weeks later. After that night, Sakura never returned home. Only her father knew where she was, and he was grateful to those who had taken her in. The village was still recovering from the invasion, but we'll leave that for another time. Uzumaki Namika's residence. Everyone could be seen eating some ramen when Naruko stopped. Naruto. Naru-chan, what's wrong? Naruko didn't say anything, she just put her hand to her mouth and ran away. Seeing her, everyone followed her to the bathroom and saw her vomiting. Naruto. Naru-chan, approaches. Are you okay? Naruko stops vomiting. Naruko. Yes, Naru-kun, I'm fine. Well, I don't know what happened, but suddenly the food didn't agree with me. Kushina. Could that be? Naruko. Could it be that, Oka-san? Kushina. Mina-kun, Sachi, Naruko and I are going to the hospital. I just want to check something. Don't come with us. And without further ado, Kushina grabbed Naruko to take her away, leaving the men there. Naruto. While we wait, shall we play cards? Minato. Okay. Hospital. Both women could be seen sitting there. Naruko. Oka-san. Kushina. Yes, Naru-chan. Naruko. Why did you bring me here? Kushina. I want to check something. Then a doctor comes out. Doctor. You can come in. Both women enter. 30 minutes later. The two were waiting for the blonde's results when the doctor came in. Kushina. So. What's wrong with my daughter? Doctor. Congratulations, girl. Naruko. Tilting her head. Doctor. You're pregnant. The room fell silent. Naruko. What? Doctor. You're pregnant. Naruko began to shed tears, then gave a smile. Naruko. I'm going to be a mom. Kushina. I'm going to be a grandmother. Uzumaki Namika's residence. Both men were playing cards when the women entered. Minato. Well. Naruko just shot towards Naruto and kissed him on the lips. Naruto. Naru-chan, what's wrong? Naruko. Rubbing her belly with a smile and tears of happiness. Naru-kun, I'm pregnant. Both men were in shock. Naruto. What did you say? Naruko. That we're going to be parents. Naruto began to tear up, then managed a smile. He lifted his beloved up, his hands on her waist and hers on his shoulders. Naruto. I'm going to be a dad. He puts her down to kiss her. You make me the happiest man in the world. With that, they shared a passionate kiss. Meanwhile, Minato was crying and being comforted by his wife. Kushina. Okay, Mina-kun. Minato. Sorry, it's just I'm so happy, I'm going to be a grandfather. Kushina. And I'm going to be a grandmother. With that, the family comes together to give each other a big hug and eagerly awaits the new member of the family. The next day. Everyone from the NaruNaru generation was at the Akimichi barbecue, everyone except the Yukin, the blind girl, not Hinata, from the same. Naruto. So, who called? Joji. Me. I thought we should get together and chat about anything. Shikamaru. Ugh, what a drag, but I agree. Naruko. So, what's up? Sakura. Well, takes Ino's hand. Ino and I are a couple. That surprised everyone except NaruNaru. Hinata. Really, Sakura-chan, Ino-chan? Ino? Yes. Hinata. Congratulations, girls. Sakuino. Thank you. Just then a waitress arrives. Waitress. May I take your order? Everyone ordered their food, though they were surprised that Naruko asked for very little seasoning, but they let it go. When they arrived, everyone started eating, though they were surprised that Naruko was eating more than usual. Lee. Are you okay, Naruko-chan? I mean, you're eating a lot. Naruko just sighs. Naruko. Fine, we'll tell them, but not a word leaves here, understood? The rest nodded. Naruto. Well, how do we put this? They both sigh. Naruko. I'm pregnant. That shocked everyone. The most feared girl was going to be a mother. And not only that. The father would be her own brother. But even so, they were happy for both of them. Ino. Congratulations, guys. Shikamaru. What a drag, but I'm happy for you. Sakura. I want to be the godmother. Lee. Their flames of youth burn like 1,000 suns. Joji. I'll treat you to lunch. Niji. MPH, congratulations. Tenten. I can't wait to see the baby. Hinata. Many congratulations, Naruto-kun, Naruko-chan. Hiba. A new member of the pack, I can't wait to see him. Shino. Congratulations. NaruNaru. Thanks, guys. With that, they continued eating and talking about trivial things until they finished and the waitress came. Waitress. Dessert. Sakura. A Neapolitan flan. Ino. Same. Shikamaru. Chocolate covered. Strawberries. Joji. Potato chips. Niji. Vanilla flan. Tenten. Chocolate flan. Lee. Fruit cocktail. Hinata. Cinnamon rolls. Hiba. 3 milk dumplings. Shino. Some sushi. Naruto. Apple with tamarind. Naruko. Chocolate cake with strawberries. That caught everyone's attention, but those of her generation attributed it to her pregnancy. With that, the waitress left to get the orders, leaving the kids chatting about this and that. The orders arrived 30 minutes later. Sakura and Ino. Shikamaru. Joji. Niji. Tenten. Reed. Hinata. Hiba. Shino. Naruto. Naruko. All. Ida Akamasu. Then everyone ate their desserts, although Naruko ate more than one because of her pregnancy. They continued until they had finished. Once they had finished eating, everyone went outside. Naruko. See you. Everyone. Naruto. See you later, guys. With that, everyone goes their separate ways while NaruNaru heads home. Naruko. That was delicious. Naruto. Do you think the baby liked it? Naruko. I think so. They held hands, the blonde woman's hand resting on her stomach. Now that she knew she was going to be a mother, she eagerly awaited her son or daughter. Chapter 23. Of. Naruto. It's a beautiful day, the birds are singing, and the flowers are blooming. On mornings like these, it's time to wake up. It's such a shame I can't sleep well. Why? Simple. My Naru-chan is pregnant. It's been 9 months since I found out my darling was pregnant. Honestly, I was filled with joy, but I never thought I'd have to endure all of this. But it will be worth it to see my little one and hold them in my arms. Of. Normal. But how did we get here? First month. After learning that he would be a father, Naruto took great care of Naruko. Scene. Naruko was seen going to feed the creatures when she was intercepted by her beloved. Naruko. Hi Naru-kun. Naruto. Hi Naru-chan, what are you doing? Naruko. I'm going to feed the animals. Naruto. No. That took Naruko by surprise. Naruko. Why? Naruto. Because of the baby. I don't want either of you to get hurt. Naruko. But. Naruto. But nothing. Mom and dad will help me. You go and rest. You'll need it. Naruko left sadly, although Naruto was a little hurt. End of scene. After that, there was a family meeting, and as a result, Naruko did help, but only for a while. Naruko was happy about it, and although she wanted to protect Naruto, she also wanted to protect her. However, she continued to vomit. Second time By the second month, the small bump was already visible, so they had to tell Hiruzen. Upon hearing this, he nearly had a heart attack, but he was overjoyed at the prospect of a new grandchild. Konohamaru, who occasionally went with his friends to train or look after Naruko, was also delighted and promised to take care of their new little brother or little sister when the baby was born. But as always, someone had to interfere, and that someone was the civil council in the uke. Scene. Hiruzen. Very well, who initiated this meeting? Koharu. We did, Hiruzen. We learned that Naruko is pregnant, so we request that when the child is born, you hand it over to us to ensure its loyalty to Konoha. Hiruzen. Denied. Koharu. But Hiruzen. But no. I will not allow you to lay a single finger on Naruko and Naruto's child. So, if you don't want to be executed, don't meddle in this matter again. Do you understand? The civil council nodded fearfully. They never thought they would see Hiruzen angry again. End of scene. And with the uke, well, the duckling thought about deserting for power, but after a few good beatings from Naruto, after an almost sterilization by Naruko, and ending with a confinement for attempting to desert, the duckling's plan backfired. Freer mess. In the third month, symptoms like vomiting and those that endangered the fetus's life decreased considerably, and the bump grew larger. That month, Naruko began to stop helping feed the animals and stop doing other tasks. Meanwhile, Naruto realized they needed help, so he and Jiraiya embarked on an adventure to find the slug Sannin, Tsunade's Senju. They brought her back in a rather unusual way. Scene. Tsunade. I won't return to Konoha. I don't have good memories there. Jiraiya. But Tsunaheim. Naruto. Let's go. Jiraiya sees it. Naruto. Let's go, Iro Sennin. I'm not going to be dealing with an alcoholic who's always wallowing in her past. Let's find someone else to help out at the hospital, and while we're at it, they can help me check on Naruko. With that, they both stop, but before leaving. Naruto. If you truly are a great medical ninja, the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju and the niece-granddaughter of Tobirama Senju, let me tell you, both of them, along with the doctors, would be disappointed in you. Especially if you have a phobia of blood. With that, they both leave the place. Once they are 10 meters away, the blonde shouts at them from the entrance. Tsunade. Okay, I'll go. Naruto just looks at Jiraiya with a smile. End of scene. And with that they managed to bring Tsunade, who was surprised to see Kushina and Minato alive and well, and even more so to see that her own children were going to have a child, but she remembered that incest was allowed among Uzumakas, so from time to time she goes to check on Naruko's condition. Fourth month. This month, Naruko's cravings hit hard, starting with things like pineapple with honey or strawberries with butter. To be honest, Naruto found it a little disgusting, but he knew to give her what she asked for. He'd read that in a book about pregnancy. There were also times when Naruto couldn't feed Naruko because of his chunin duties, so Kushina and Minato were there to support him. Even though they could live on their own, they wanted to keep their family close, and they also needed a place for their animals. One more thing. That month, they got married. Despite already being pregnant, they did it so the child wouldn't suffer and because they truly loved each other. 5 to mess. That month, because he was a Jinchuriki, Naruto began exhibiting fox-like behaviors, such as being almost always near his mate and becoming somewhat jealous and almost preventing Naruko from having contact with any other male who wasn't someone he trusted. But how do we know that? Well. Scene. Minato was seen with Kushina, Yin and Yang. The latter two had already developed a certain level of trust with the two older ones, so they were freely outside the seal. The quartet was witnessing a rather strange scene. Naruto very close to Naruko, as if he were protecting not only her, but also her baby. Although she didn't mind. She felt safe. Minato. Naruto's acting a little strange. Ying. That's normal. Both adults see the foxes. Kushina. How is that normal? Ying. Well, little tomato, it's normal since being my Jinchuriki, plus being an Uzumaki, and being a man, his instincts tell him to take care of her. That surprised both humans. Minato. So it's only in male Jinchuriki. Yang. No, when they were going to have both, in your case it was that my pheromones came out giving you the feeling that you should be with your wife. This new information surprised them both. With that, the quartet voted to look at both young men, who both had big smiles on their faces. End of scene. After that, it was revealed that Minakushi was alive, as the Shinigami had exchanged Orochimaru's soul for both of theirs. It was also revealed that Naruko was pregnant and that Minakushi was the father of NaruNaru. 6th month. The harassment from the civil council resumed. They desperately wanted the baby and refused to stop. But a death glare from Hiruzen, Minato, Kushina, Naruto, who possesses fox instincts, and Tsunade silenced them. Although it wasn't relevant to the pregnancy, Tsunade took Ino and Sakura under her wing, recognizing their potential, and it was true both were giving 120% effort. This made her smile with pride. They were going to check the baby's hex, but they didn't, at Naruko's request. Scene. Tsunade. Well, I've finished examining the baby, but do you want to know the hex? Naruto. Why? Naruko. No. They both see her so that she can often see her beloved. Naruko. Please Naru-kun, I want it to be a surprise for both of us. Naruto looked into her eyes and she really wanted that, so she smiled, then nodded and gave him a kiss. Naruto. Okay. The blonde smiled. End of scene. And so, the cravings started piling up, like vanilla ice cream with honey, eggs with milk and cilantro, or mustard sandwich. Honestly, Naruto was disgusted by it, but for his beloved and their baby, he would do anything for their happiness. 7th month. That month, Naruko experienced something Naruto never thought he would. She began to have bouts of jealousy because his friends would occasionally come over and the girls would help him in the kitchen or with the animals. Scene. Naruto and Sakura are seen cooking when they accidentally spill food on each other. They look at each other and laugh, but suddenly they hear something behind them. Naruko. Stay away from my man Sakura. They both startle to turn around and see Naruko with an aura of jealousy and her hair standing on end. Naruto. Naruko-chan, what's wrong? Naruko. What's wrong? Why are you with that pink-haired girl? Don't you love me anymore? Tears were almost streaming down her face. Naruto. It's not that, it was just an accident. He moves closer to her and cups her cheeks. You know I love you. Naruko. Do you swear? Naruto. I swear. With that, he kisses her, with a smiling Sakura as a spectator. End of scene. After that, Naruko, with Kushina's help, controlled her jealousy by letting her friends into the house. 8th month. This month, the girls were spending more time with Naruko, thinking about names, clothes, and other things for the baby. Konohamaru, his friends, and grandfather were spending more time at the NaruNaru house than outside, and they even left an Altaria there. Already a demiguise. But Naruko. She was occasionally lying down in the Altaria and being looked after by the demiguise. Scene. Naruto could be seen coming out with food when he saw an Altaria lying down with Naruko leaning on it while reading and having a demiguise feeding her. Naruto. Hello. Upon hearing him, the animals and Naruko turned to look at him. Naruko. Hello, Naru-kun. Naruto. Walking towards her. Hello Naru-chan. When he arrives, he sits down to kiss her. Naruto. Settling in. What are you reading? Naruko. A book about baby care. Mom gave it to me. Naruto. May I? Naruko. Nodding sure. With that, Naruto picked up the book to read it. In the distance, Minakushi could be seen watching the scene with a smile. End of scene. And from that day on, Naruto read almost constantly about baby care, and he no longer slept well because he was taking care of his beloved, but he didn't regret it. 9th month. Things had calmed down in the last month. Naruko was starting to let go of her old behavior, and she was being closely watched by her beloved and her parents. She was also already choosing names for her baby. She never really thought being a mother would excite her so much. But she didn't regret getting pregnant. Just holding her baby in her arms made her incredibly happy and excited. Scene. Naruko and Kushina were seen sitting, watching some creatures, with a small container of instant ramen beside them, while she knitted. Wait. Knitting. Yep, she'd changed her habits, and she'd picked up a few of her mother's. Her father and her beloved were at the Hokage Tower, Minato was Hokage again, and on a mission, respectively. Naruko stopped knitting to caress her belly, which was already showing. Naruko. You don't know how much I long to have you in my arms, my baby. With that, he resumes the activity he did before. End of scene. They were both impatient and excited to finally hold their son or daughter in their arms. And not only them, Minato and Kushina were also patiently awaiting the new arrival. Of. End of story. Of. Normal. Naruto was getting up when he heard his beloved wake up. Naruko. MMH, Naruto. Naruto. I'm here, love. Naruko. Is it daytime already? Naruto. Yes, my dear. With that, Naruto helps Naruko to her feet and then does the same thing while going to the dining room. Time skip jutsu. Naruko, Kushina and Ino were walking through the village, followed by Naruto, Minato, and a few clones of both of them. Naruko had left her hair loose, as she found it a little uncomfortable to tie it up in pigtails. The girls were chatting happily when Naruko. Ah. Naruto drops his things and runs towards his beloved, who was clutching her stomach while holding on to him. Naruto. What's wrong? Then they heard water falling, looked down, and saw that the liquid was coming from Naruko. Naruko. My water broke. Naruto. The baby's about to be born. With that, quickly but gently, he carries Naruko in his arms and runs to the nearest hospital, while the other three and the clones quickly pack everything up so that Minakushi can leave for the hospital and Ino can go and warn the others. Hospital. NaruNaru's classmates and their parents were already gathered there, but what was happening with NaruNaru? Well. Room. Nurse. Push. Naruko. Ah. Naruko was giving birth while Naruto was holding her hand tightly. Naruto. Come on, Naruko. Naruko. That's what I'm doing. Ugh. Ah. Nurse. Come on, we can see her head now. Naruto. Come on, Naruko. Naruko. Ah. Then a baby is heard crying. Nurse. Congratulations, it's a girl. I'm going to clean her up. With that, the nurse goes to another part of the room to clean the baby. Once she's clean, she hands her to her parents. Naruko. How beautiful my little one is. Naruto. Yes, she's very beautiful. What will her name be? Naruko. How about Ria's? Naruto. That's a beautiful name. Stroking his baby welcome Ria's Uzumaki. My little girl. Chapter 24. The next day. It was a new day and we found ourselves at the hospital, right in Naruko's room. She was waking up on the stretcher. Naruko. Where am I? Opens her eyes suddenly and stands up quickly my baby. Suddenly someone jumps up because of the shout. Naruto. What happened? Naruko. Naruto. Naruto. Naruko. What's wrong? Naruko. My baby. Naruto. Calm down, Ria's is fine, they just took her somewhere to take care of her, but she's okay. Upon hearing this, Naruko began to calm down a little. Naruko. I'm sorry, but my baby, my little girl, I was worried. Naruto. Don't worry, she's fine. Naruko. Okay. That's where Kushina and Minato come in. Kushina. My little girl. Naruko. Hello, mom and dad. Minato. Hello, daughter. How are you? Naruko. I'm fine, I'm still a little tired from the delivery, but I'm okay. In a maternal tone I can't wait to have my baby girl in my arms. Naruto. In a paternal tone me too, I want my little one with us. Kushina. Don't worry, she'll be fine. Tsunade-sensei is checking on her. Naruko. Sighing that's good. Minato. By the way, children, some people are coming to see you. With that, they withdraw so that everyone except the Yuke and the blind girl, I'm not talking about Hinata, I'm talking about Shion, can enter. Tiba. Hey guys. NaruNaru. Hey. Naruko. What are you doing here? Sakura. We came to see you, friend. Ino. Besides, we were worried. Naruko. Thanks for worrying about me. Hinata. You're welcome. Naruto. Not that I'm worried about him, but what about the Yuke? Eyes. Yuke. Naruto. Yeah, the Yuke, the Sasuke. Everyone laughed when they heard the nickname. Shikamaru. He, troublesome, but he's still in jail. Joji. Yeah. But my dad says the civil council wants to get him out for being a Uchiha-sama, and I don't know what else. Naruko. I see. Those old fogies still want to get that traitor out. Ino. Yeah. Sakura. And I heard from my dad that my mother is planning something or other, but unfortunately it involves the little one. That surprised everyone, especially NaruNaru. They wanted to use his daughter for their own purposes. Naruko. On the verge of tears, what will we do? Naruto. I think it's best if we leave the village for a while dad fixes everything. Naruko. But what about Ria's? Naruto. She's coming with us. I really wish this didn't have to happen, but that won't be necessary. Upon hearing the voice, everyone turned to look at the window and saw that Jiraiya was there. Everyone. Jiraiya-sama Iro Senin. Jiraiya. First, referring to NaruNaru, stop calling me that. Second, the trip won't be necessary. Naruto. Why? Jiraiya. Because we're already investigating everything about the civil council with the help of the clan heads. Upon hearing that, Naruko and Naruto's hopes of not leaving rose a little. Naruko. So what are we waiting for? She tries to stop, but Jiraiya stops her. Naruko. Iro Senin. Jiraiya. You're weak. You just gave birth a few hours ago. You're not at 100%. It's best if you leave this to us. Trust us, we won't let them take your daughter away. Naruko felt powerless. She knew she was weak, but she didn't want to depend on anyone. But now that she thought about it, someone would depend on her. And that someone was her daughter. Naruko. Fine, but promise me you'll succeed. Jiraiya. You don't need to ask. Naruko and Naruto smiled. The others. We will help. The trio turns to look at the rest of the people in the room. Jiraiya. I don't think. Sakura. We'll help him for our friends. Besides, I have some knowledge of my mother. Denton. And we're both ninjas. Jiraiya looked at them closely and saw that their eyes reflected great determination. Jiraiya. Sigh alright, the more the merrier. The rest NaruNaru. Yes. Naruko. Are you really going to do that for us? Lee. Of course, it's our duty as comrades. Sakura. Besides, as Kakashi-sensei once said, those who break the rules are scum. But those who abandon a friend are worse than scum. Naruto. Great line. Naruko. Nodding yeah. And thank you very much, we really don't want to leave. Sakura. We'll prevent that. Everyone felt happy, to the delight of both Uzumakis, that they had great friends. 1 month later. Naruko could be seen leaving the hospital with Naruto and a small bundle in her arms. Naruko. Seeing the bundle at last, I can hold you in my arms, my little Rias. Yes. Naruko had already recovered and was going home with her beloved, carrying little Rias in her arms. Naruto. Looking at Rias, she's so beautiful, just like her mother. Naruko. Blushing aw, thanks Naru. They continued walking, watched by cheerful villagers who knew who they were and what they did for everyone, so they were happy to see them happy, and they also regretted all the harm they had done to them. But the NaruNaru. They were both arriving at the residence to open it and found their parents having problems with the Thestral. Naruto. Mockingly, problems with the Thestrals. Kushina. What if you help us instead? The Thestral makes a rather loud noise, waking the baby. Rias. Duai. Upon hearing the crying, the Thestral fell silent and Minakushi and Naruto went to the blonde to try to make her stop crying. Naruko. Shaking her okay, calm down. The baby seemed to calm down when Ichigo arrived. Upon seeing her, the baby began to laugh as she reached out her hands towards her. Seeing this, her parents smiled. Naruko. It's a joke. The creature pays attention to him. Naruko. Rias wants to hug you, can't she? Ichigo. Smiling Chico. With that, Naruko carefully lowered her daughter so she could crawl towards the grass-type Pokémon. Once there, the red-haired baby hugged her while Chikatira smiled. Seeing the scene, Minato and Naruto quickly grabbed 2 cameras to return and take pictures. The women were also delighted by what they saw when the baby started to cry. Seeing this, Chikatira became frightened, but Kushina intervened. Kushina. Maybe I'm hungry. Upon hearing that, Naruko blushed. She knew what she had to do, but she would do it anyway. So she took the baby and uncovered one of her breasts, then brought Rias to her nipple and breathed her daughter. Seeing this, the trio smiled. But this happiness didn't last long, as there was a knock at the door. Minato answered it and found an Anbu. Minato. Yes. Anbu. Hokage-sama, the council requests you and your family. And with that, he leaves, having the 4 of them with a single thought. Minakushi. I have a bad feeling. And with that, he retires. Chapter 25. As Minakushi walked, they encountered Jiraiya, who had already finished investigating with NaruNaru's friends, thus having something to defend themselves with, but they would not go alone. Boardroom. The 2 old fogies could be seen alongside the bunch of idiots who call themselves the Civil Council. Well, they were waiting for Minakushi when the quartet entered with a sleeping Rias, Hiruzen, and the Shinobi Council. Upon seeing the Shinobi Council, the civilians were surprised, believing that only the 4 of them would come with the baby, but not with the Shinobi Council. Putting that aside, everyone took their places. Minato. Who initiated the meeting? Kaharu. We did, Hokage-sama. Minato. What is the reason, motive, or circumstance? Upon hearing him say that, the civil council tensed up. They never thought he would ask such a thing. Kaharu. Well. Mabuki. Minato, it's so you can hand over that brat Rias to us to make her loyal to Konoha, and since she's old enough to have children, put her in the Kra to have offspring. But he regretted it, as a great murderous instinct arose, which came from the Minakushi. Naruto. Shaman. The shaman appears. Naruto. Take Rias outside and try to calm her down. Shaman. Serious Shay. With that, on the moss on Shaman's back, they position Rias so that the Pokémon can retreat, leaving them in an awkward and suffocating silence. Naruko. With her eyes covered by her hair, repeat what you said, Blondie. Mabuki was filled with fear, but thinking that because she was from the civil council they wouldn't do anything to her and she would have everything under control. Mabuki. I said to hand over your daughter Rias to make her loyal to Konoha and, once she is of age to bear children, put her in the Kra to have offspring. But she messed up. Now the killing intent was stronger and more suffocating. Naruko's hair ties snapped, causing her hair to undulate in 9 sections. A small air of orange chakra appeared on Naruto's head. Kushina's hair underwent the same transformation as Naruko's. Minato's killing intent reached monstrous levels. Hiruzen was so enraged that small flames were shooting from between his teeth. And the Shinobi Council was preparing their techniques. Seeing all this, Mabuki realized she'd really screwed up, but then a pink-haired girl and a blonde girl entered. Sakura. I'm sorry to interrupt the meeting, but we found information that the civil council tried to hide. Upon hearing that, Mibuyuki felt like her world had collapsed. Her daughter was betraying her. But she became even more frightened and angry when she heard the following. Sakura. And we heard everything, I can't believe that because of their hunger for power, they want to use a baby. They're monsters. That last thing angered the entire civil council, but it devastated Mibuyuki inside to learn that her own daughter saw her as a monster. Minato. Thank you, Sakura, Ino. But we won't need all the documents. Knowing that they were capable of using my granddaughter for their lust for power, they will be sentenced. Mibuyuki. Daughter. Sakura. Shut your mouth. You yourself said that because you loved Ino, I wasn't your daughter anymore. Don't come at me now saying I'm your daughter, you damn bastard. That completely broke Mibuyuki's heart. She had lost her daughter for her ideals. Just then, yellow chains ensnared the civil council. Upon seeing who they belonged to, they realized it was the two Uzumakas. Minato. As Hokage, for the attempt to take my granddaughter and the crimes that are in these documents which we have already read, I sentenced them to death. This frightened and terrified the council so much that they begged for mercy, all except one person, Mibuyuki. She accepted, realizing too late that her hunger for power had cost her everything. First her money, then her husband, who saw her as scum because of her crimes, then her daughter, and finally, her life. Outside the Hokage Tower. Everyone was gathered, watching the civilian council bound like animals, while on either side stood the Uzumaki Namikaze family, Hiruzen, the Shinobi Council, and the INT. All of this was witnessed by the civilians. Minato. People of Konoha, I have gathered you here for the execution of the civil council for attempting to take my granddaughter, theft, murder, drug trafficking, prostitution, illicit experiments, among other things. Upon hearing that, the civilians looked at the civil council with disgust. Minato. We learned all this through hard research and the help of my children's friends, especially Sakura Haruno, Mibuyuki Haruno's daughter. Upon hearing the girl's name, everyone felt respect for her. She could have helped her but didn't, she could have covered for her but didn't. Moreover, she helped in her arrest. Minato. For what he sentenced the civil council to death today. And with that, the entire civil council was executed, but upon arriving in Mibuyuki, it was Sakura who did it. Mibuyuki. Forgive me, daughter. Sakura. There's nothing to forgive. I wanted to fix things, but you never wanted to. I thought I could trust you when I said Ino was my partner, but I was wrong. I'm sorry, but now, you're not my mother. And with that, she executed her. Afterward, they cleaned up and went home, while Minakushinaran arrived at the residence and found Shaman with Rias asleep in her moss. Upon seeing her, Naruko went to get the baby. Naruko, thank you Shaman. Shaman. Nodding Shay. And with that, the grass-type Pokémon leaves the place, allowing the family to go deeper into the house. Chapter 26. 5 years later. The Hidden Leaf Village had already changed somewhat. After the death of the civil council, another one was formed, but this one wasn't corrupt and improved the village. NaruNaru's friends helped them with the animals and the little girl. Ino and Sakura trained with Tsunade. They discovered an organization called Akatsuki, which captured Jinchuriki and extracted their Biju. And why do I say they existed? Easy, because Naruto and Naruko, with the help of the others, managed to eradicate it, but they discovered an infiltrator. Itachi Uchiha, along with his new partner Konan, who joined the village. Obviously, this didn't reach Sasuke's ears. Most of them started relationships, but others weren't interested. Xian, however, could never be interested because of her past, which she didn't know she had done wrong. Another thing is that Minakushi had another son, whom they named Menma, who was 1 year younger than Rias. You have no idea what awaits Menma and Rias 7U7. But we focused on another place. Uzumaki Namikaze, residence. The girl with red hair and 3 markings could be seen running alongside 2 Yamask. And a Skido. This girl was Rias Uzumaki, daughter of Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Ignore the high school DxD logo. She was a very hyperactive child, she loved playing with Pokémon and fantasy creatures, but she inherited her grandfather Minato Namikaze's fear of spiders, which is why she never, ever went near Acromantulas. Just then, she turned a corner and bumped into her mother. Naruko. Rias Uzumaki, what are you doing? Naruko's new appearance. Rias. Hello Oka-san, I was playing with the Yamask and Skido. Naruko sighed. Her daughter was very hyperactive, but she still loved her with all her heart. Naruko. Come daughter, help me with the Acromantulas. Upon hearing that, Rias turns pale with fear. Rias. But Oka-san. Naruko. But nothing. Rias. Yes, but you'll help me with the swooping evils. Now it was Naruko's turn to pale with fear, but she accepted it, a little angrily, when Rias realized she would have to feed the animal she was afraid of. She knew her mother would help her with the ones that frightened her. They walked until they reached the Acromantulas. Upon seeing them, she began to want to leave, but she had made a bet against her mother and wouldn't lose. They went inside and began feeding the animals, with Rias wanting to leave, but she wouldn't go. Rias. I won't leave, I won't lose this bet against my mother, because I'm Rias Uzumaki, Dadabane. And so it was, Rias never left until they ended up having the baby breathing heavily. Naruko. Mockingly well, you did it, he. Rias. Of course I would, Dadabane. Naruko laughed a little. Her daughter had inherited her mother's verbal tic. Naruko. Okay, Rias-chan. Rias. Alright, Oka-san, but remember that you have to do your part, Dadabane. Naruko paled slightly, but nodded. It wouldn't be fair for her daughter to help her with something that scared the little girl, but didn't scare her, so they both headed off with the swooping evil, encountering Kushina and Menma. Kushina. Hello. Naruko Rias. Hello Oka-san Ba-chan. Menma. Hello Rias. Rias. Hello Menma. I'm warning you now that the Menma here won't be like the one in other fics, i.e., arrogant. Kushina. Where are you going? Rias. We're going to see the swooping evils, Dadabane. Kushina. But aren't you scared of those animals? Naruko. Yes, but we made a bet. She'll help me with the acromantulas and I'll help her with the swooping evils. Menma. Oka-san, can we come? Kushina. Of course, son. Menma Rias. That's great, Dadabane. Both mothers chuckled a little. Both had adopted the family's verbal tic. But if both had it, why hadn't Naruko and Naruto? Simple. They'd lost it to a mob, but that was all in the past. Just then, the door opened, revealing Naruto and Minato. Naruko Kushina. Naru-kun Mina-kun. Both women hugged and kissed their respective husbands. Naruko. I thought you'd be here in half an hour. Naruto. I wanted to see my family and I dragged dad along by telling him the secret about the paperwork. Minato. Sorry, but if I'd known, I would have used it. Rias Menma. Running towards them father. Both children hugged their respective parents. Rias. You're here. Naruto. Of course, I wouldn't miss a day with my family. Rias smiled broadly. With that, they both walked towards the swooping evils, as they had been informed and wanted to help out before bathing. Upon arriving, Naruko was eager to leave, but she wouldn't lose a bet with her own daughter, so, summoning her courage, she went to help with the animals, leaving Rias somewhat frustrated since she wanted to win the bet. However, she let it go, as she enjoyed seeing her mother's fearful expression, even if she didn't admit it. Eventually, they split into 3 groups. NaruNaru in one, Minakushi in another, and Rias and Menma in the last. With Rias and Menma. They were both in the place where the food was, filling some small buckets with food. Rias. Hey Menma. Menma. Yes Rias. Rias. Who in the family do you like the most? Menma. Well, I like them all, but I like you the most, since we play together, Dadabeo. Rias. Haha, I like you the most too, Menma, Dadabeo. They both laughed as the food was ready, turning around and ending up in a position that was somewhat strange for them, but funny and or annoying for the adults. Imagine you are Menma and Rias. Both of them blushed when they saw that. Despite their young age, they understood what they were doing, and their blush deepened. When they separated, they were only connected by a thin strand of saliva, making them blush even more. Menma. I think this stays between us. Rias. Ha.hai. They wouldn't even look at each other. Despite being children, they knew about adult things, and that embarrassed them. But they decided to forget about it and go back to their work. When they arrived at their parents' house, they were still blushing. Naruto. Is something wrong, little one? Rias. And no, thank you for asking. Kushina. And you, my boy? Menma. And no, and nothing. The adults wondered what was happening, but they let it go and fed the swooping evil with a frightened Naruko, making everyone laugh and causing Rias and Menma to forget the incident. Chapter 27. It was already night and everyone was asleep, but let's go to a room. Menma and Ria's room. They were both lying down while being tucked in by NaruNaru. Rias. Father. Naruto. Yes, little one. Rias. Are you going to work tomorrow? Upon hearing the question, Menma and Naruko pricked up their ears. Naruto. No, little one, I'm not going to work tomorrow, I asked for 3 days off. Upon hearing that, the 3 of them were happy. Rias. Father, can we go to the park tomorrow? Menma. Yes, brother. Can we go? Naruto put his hand on his chin as if thinking, until he smiled. Naruto. Okay, but only if you behave yourselves. Both children smiled happily. Naruko. I'll go ahead, Naru-kun. Naruto. Okay, Naru-chan. They kiss in front of the children, unfortunately causing them to remember their kiss and blush. When they separate, they both see the children, who are also blushing. Naruko. Is something wrong kids? Rias Menma. And no, nothing happens Oka-san ni-chan. Naruko nodded, puzzled, but still left, leaving Naruto with the children. Once they were alone, Naruto started to leave when Rias stopped him. "Naruto. What's wrong, little one?" "Rias. Sing us something to help us fall asleep, please, father." Naruto. "But. Menma. Please, brother." Naruto sighs in defeat and then begins to sing. Naruto. "This will be fun, okay?" Both children nodded. When they finished, the children were laughing until they settled down to sleep. Rias Menma. "Good night, father mother." Naruto. "Good night, kids." With that, he left, turning off the lights as the children fell asleep. Naruto walked toward the room he shared with his beloved. NaruNaru room. Naruto had arrived to enter and stumbled upon Naruko wearing something that excited him. "Naruko. You've arrived, na.ru.kun." Upon hearing her say that, he became even more excited, causing the bulge where his little friend was to become visible. Upon seeing that, Naruko blushed as she became aroused. Naruko. Foo, I see you like what you see." Naruto. Of course I like it." Starts undressing until he's in his underwear. "Shall we begin?" Naruko. Opening her arms whenever you're ready, love. With that said, Naruto moved closer and began kissing the blonde passionately as they lay down on the bed, caressing each other until they separated, panting. Naruto didn't hesitate for another second and began massaging the woman's breasts, eliciting moans from her. Lemon skipped. When they finished, Naruto got out, letting the blonde fall face down while he lay face up. They looked at each other and kissed, and the red covered them both up, and they both fell asleep. Chapter 28. A new day was dawning and everyone was waking up, but in one room in particular. NaruNaru room. Both Uzumakis were asleep when the light began to reach them. Naruto was the first to feel it, and he woke up. Naruto. MMH. Upon seeing his beloved, he blushes but also smiles. He then leans in to kiss her, managing to wake her up. Naruko. MMH, good morning, Naruto-kun. Naruto. Good morning, Naruko-chan. How are you this morning? Naruko. My butt hurts. Naruto. Sorry. You know, I remember Sakura and Ino are coming over. Naruko. Why? Naruto. Sakura said to help us with the animals, and Ino said with the kids. Naruko. I see. Naruto. Yeah. Well, let's get up. Naruto gets up, but Naruko doesn't. Naruto. What's wrong, Naru-chan? Naruko. Crying comically. I can't feel my legs and my butt hurts. Naruto. Scratching the back of his neck with a nervous smile. Sorry, love. With that, he helps Naruko get up so they can both go to the bathroom and take a shower. 15 minutes later. They had already finished bathing and getting ready to go out, with Naruko now recovered. Naruto. I'll go get the kids. Naruko. Yes. But that said, they both kiss, one to go to the kitchen and the other to go to the children. Menma and Ria's room. Both children were still lying asleep when Naruto opened the door. Naruto. Children. They both let out a groan as they wake up. Menma Ria's. Getting up and rubbing their eyes. MMH, good morning Nai-san Oto-san. Naruto. Good morning, kids, it's time to get up. Menma Ria's. Yes, Nai-san Oto-san. And with that, the children get up while Naruto leaves. Once they are alone, they begin to change their clothes. Remember they are 5 and 4 years old. Once they were both ready, they headed to the kitchen. There they noticed Minato and Naruto setting the table while Naruko and Kushina were making breakfast. Menma Ria's. Good morning, father grandmother, mother grandmother. Mina Kushinaru. Good morning, children. Kushina. Please help us with the cutlery. Menma Ria's. Yes sir. The two children go to get the cutlery while the older women continue cooking. Once the table is set, the older women place the food on it so everyone can begin eating breakfast. After breakfast. Everyone was putting things away when the doorbell rang. Menma Ria's. I'm going databao databane. With that, they both ran towards the door. Once there, it opened, revealing Sakura and Ino alongside a blonde boy with pink streaks and aqua green eyes, about Menma's age. Menma Ria's. Hello Sakura-san, Ino-san. Sakuino. Hello Rias-chan, Menma-kun. Menma. Hello Inoka. Inoka. Hello Menma, hello Rias. Rias. Hello, Inoka-kun. Come in. With that, the 5 of them enter the residence. Upon entering the house, they run into NaruNaru and Mimakushi. Naruto. Hey girls. Sakuino. Hi. Naruko. Okay, let's get started. The kids can help if they want. Rias Menma Inoka. Yes. And with that, the 9 of them get to work. But adults. These were feeding the billowings. Naruto. Naruko. What's up, Naru-kun? Naruto. Well, I remembered the first time we fed the animals. Naruko tries to remember when she laughs a little. Naruko. You're right, especially with the changed shapes. Naruto. Yeah. Sakura. Hey guys. Both rotate. Sakura. What is this? Showing a changed shapes. Naruto. It's a changed shapes. Where did you find it? Sakura. It was among the billowings. Naruto. Kami, those things like to change shape and it's hard to stop them. Sakura. So what do I do? Naruto. Give it to me, I'll leave it with the others. But that said, Sakura hands Naruto the changed shapes to take it to his habitat. But the children. These were feeding the Eren. When Inoka accidentally hits Menma, who was in front of Ria's petting an Eren, causing it to fall on her. Inoka. Sorry about that, guys, what are you doing? And how could anyone not be confused? The children were in a compromising position and kissing. I couldn't find a picture, but imagine it like Kakashi's kiss and little Naruto. They were both red-faced, so they separated. Menma, I'm sorry Rias. No worries, Menma. Inoka. Guys. Menma Rias. Inoka. What's wrong, guys? Menma. And nothing, we're fine, Inoka. Okay. With that, they resumed their task, with Rias and Menma sharing the same minced. Rias Menma. What did you do to make me feel this way, Menma Rias? They both decided to put those thoughts aside and continued with their activity. Chapter 29. Everyone was focused on their activities, well, not everyone. Menma and Rias were thinking about their accidents. They didn't understand why they were kissing, and even less so, why they liked those kisses. Anyway, they were both about to feed the EV. When someone yells at them. Inoka. Guys. They both snap out of their thoughts upon hearing Inoka. Menma Rias. Huh? What's wrong, Inoka? Inoka. They were about to feed the EV Charmander food. They both looked to realize it's true, making them feel ashamed. Menma. We're sorry. Inoka. Is something wrong? Rias. No, Inoka-kun, nothing's wrong, Dadabane. Inoka. Okay. Let's continue. Menma. Hi. With that, the trio of children continued with their work. But adults. The 6 adults were in the dining room eating some potatoes. Sakura. Don't you think we're doing something wrong by letting the kids work? Ino. Yes, Sakura-chan, I think so too. Naruto. Yeah. Naruko. I'll go get them. The others nodded to watch as the blonde with pigtails left. But the children. The infants were finishing feeding the Vin's Clortho. And Tazul. They're not like the ones in Ghostbusters. When Naruko arrives. Naruko. Kid stares at the children near the creatures. What are you doing near the Vin's Clortho and Azul? Rias. Oka-san, we just fed them. Menma. Difficult, but we did it, Dadabeo. Naruko was a little startled but calmed down as quickly as possible. Naruko. Oh okay, let's go to the dining room, they're waiting for us. The children nodded for the quartet to leave. In the dining room. Everyone was waiting for Naruko when she entered with the children. Kushina. Hello little ones, are you finished? Inoka Menma Rias. Yes, Kushina-sama Oka-san Ba-chan. Naruko. You scared me. Naruto. What happened? Naruko. I found you just finishing feeding Vin's Clortho and Zul. Naruto almost turned pale when he heard that. Naruto. And they didn't do anything to you? I ask because they're the wildest. Rias. No, father, they didn't do anything to us. On the contrary, they let us pet them. The jaws of those present, except for the children, dropped to the floor. Naruto. Oh okay, that's quite an achievement for you little ones. Menma. Why, Nai-san? Naruto. Because we haven't even been able to feed you without being attacked. The children just laughed a little. Sakura. How about we go to the park? Inoka Menma Rias. See. The adults chuckled a little at the children's attitude. Naruko. Okay Menma, Rias, go get ready. Menma Rias. Yes. But that said, both children go to their room to change while the rest wait for them. With Menma and Rias. They had both arrived at their room and then looked for their clothes. Once they found them, they began to change. Remember that they are children and even though they know about kissing, they are still very innocent. Rias. This will be fun. Menma. I'll say that again, Rias. They both finish changing and turn around to look at their outfits. Rias. You look good, Menma. Menma. You look good too, Rias. Rias closes her eyes and smiles, making Menma blush slightly. When they open their eyes, they stare at each other and begin to slowly move closer when they hear something on the other side of the door. Minato. Menma, Rias, are you ready? Both blush and pull apart to look at the door. Rias. Why yes, we're ready. Minato. Alright, come on in. Rias. Why yes. Then they hear footsteps as someone leaves. When they hear nothing more, they look at each other. Rias. Let's go. Menma. Ha.hai. But that said, they both leave the room. When everyone arrives, they all leave. In the park. Minakushi, NaruNaru and Sakuino were already in the park with their children, watching them play. Just then, Hinata arrived with Kiba and a boy with pearl-like eyes and whisker marks on his cheeks. Hinata. Hi guys. NaruNaru and Sakuino. Hi Hinata. Hi Kiba. Kiba. Hi guys. Sees the child go play Hadaru. Hadaru. Yes, dad. But that, little Hadaru, son of Kiba and Hinata, is going to play with NaruNaru's children, Sakuino and Minakushi. Kiba. So, sits down. What's new? Naruko. Nothing much, just that we've been busy with the animals. Naruto. The missions. Minato. Being Hokage. Kushina. And taking care of the kids. Hina nodded in understanding. Kiba. Well, I've been busy with the clan and Hadaru. Hinata. Me too, but more with Shion. Upon hearing the name of the blonde with pearly eyes, NaruNaru frowned slightly. Naruko. What stupid girl is she dating now? Hinata. Sigh, she wants what she thinks belongs to her. Naruko. Sigh, that's troublesome. Hinata. I know. But the children. They were playing hide and seek, Hadaru counting, Inoka in a tree, and Menma and Rias in a bush sitting in a compromising position. Rias. This is awkward. Menma. I know. They both heard someone walk by, so they covered their mouths to avoid being heard. Hadaru. They're not here. But that, they heard her say she was leaving. They both removed their hands from their mouths, sighed in relief, and looked at each other. They gazed into each other's eyes and were lost in them. They slowly moved closer until. Imagine you are Menma and Rias. If I'm late, I apologize, but I had classes and exams 3. Chapter 30. The kiss. That's what was happening. Rias and Menma were kissing. Suddenly, they deepened the kiss, each placing their hands on the other's cheeks. They both enjoyed the sensation and continued until they separated, panting. They gazed into each other's eyes, blushes rising on their faces. Rias. Menma. Menma. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have, but. He didn't finish because Rias kissed him again. When they separated, they both blushed. Rias. Calm down Menma, it's okay. Menma gives a grateful smile and tries to kiss Rias again when. Hadaru. I found them. Upon hearing the scream, Rias and Menma jumped, yelling in fright. When they turned around, they saw Hadaru laughing. They both frowned. Rias. Menma. That's not funny. Hadaru. Laughing, I think it is. Rias. Menma. Looking away with her arms crossed. MPH. But that, the Uzumaki duo gets up to go with Hadaru to find Inoka, whom they saw buying 4 caramel apples. Hadaru. We found you, Inoka. Inoka turns around. Inoka. Yes, sorry, but I wanted a caramel apple. Extends 3 of the apples. Here you go. Rias. Menma. Hadaru. Thank you. With that, the 4 of them started eating their apples as they left with their parents. Naruto. Hey kids, did you have fun? Rias. Yes dad. Naruto. Smiles. I'm glad. Getting up. Well, we're leaving. Menma. But big brother, we want to keep playing. Naruto just points to the side so the children can't see that it was getting dark. Naruto. Smile. See. Menma just puffed out her cheeks in a cute pout as the 4 children separated and went off with their parents. Uzumaki Namika's residence. Everyone had already arrived at the house. Naruko. Okay kids, go take a bath. Rias. Menma. Yes, Oka-san on-chan. With that, both children ran to their room to take a bath while the adults did the same. With Rias and Menma. They had both arrived to start undressing and entering the bathroom, both filling the tub so they could get in, facing each other in a silence that became uncomfortable when they looked into each other's eyes. Rias. This is awkward. Menma. Nodding yes, this silence is awkward. They looked at each other, leaned in, and shared another kiss. When they parted, they were blushing. Rias. Doing this is strange. Menma. But also pleasant. Rias giggled a little before taking Menma's face in her hands and kissing her, this time with a touch of love. When they parted, they were both panting. Lemon skipped. They were both trying to sleep, but because of the heat and the sensations, they couldn't fall asleep until after 30 minutes. The next morning. In Menma and Ria's room, they were both asleep until there was a knock at the door. The infant woke up and saw Naruko. Menma. Good morning, On-chan. Naruko. Good morning, Atoto, how did you sleep? Menma. Fine. Naruko. That's good, wake Rias up and go to the kitchen. Menma. Yes. With that, Naruko leaves so Menma can close the door and wake Rias up. Menma. Shaking Rias. Wake up Rias. Rias starts to moan as she opens her eyes. Rias, sleepily. Good morning Menma. Menma. Good morning, Rias, get up already. Rias. I'm coming. With that, they both get up to change. Dining room. Everyone was enjoying their breakfast until Ichispin came in with a letter. Naruto. Thanks, friend. Naruto takes the letter, begins to read it, and gets serious. Naruko. What's wrong, Naru-kun? Naruto. They're about to release Sasuke. That surprised everyone, especially Minato. Minato. Who decided that? Naruto. He doesn't say, but I think it's someone who still loves their Sasuke-sama. Minato. Well, even if he doesn't want to, I think it's for the best, well, see what happened. Naruto. Okay. With that, everyone went back to eating peacefully, although if you looked under the table, you could see the hands of NaruNaru, Minakushi and Menma and Rias, intertwined. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.